The Brewing Network Sunday Session is brought to you by the badasses at More Beer. Visit them at morebeer.com.
Feels like work. Shooting the shit for 2 hours, drinking beer and talking beer. What a wonderful experience.
Can we not have the barf bucket near my mixing board?
I think everybody could read the book.
I knew you were going to use this book as an excuse to quit doing this show.
Mrs. Bub, if you want, I can mail you the Bub Timer.
Yeah, Newcastle, especially in the can. Have you ever had it in the can?
No, I have not had it in the can.
Notice I closed my eyes and I concentrated really hard.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Hey everyone, good evening. This is JP, and this is The Session.
Oh, it is?
It is. Hello, Warren.
Hi. This is The Session.
This is The Session, in case you guys didn't know. Bev, we have a call on the non-existent line 5. I don't know if you...
Already, they can't wait to call in.
The calls are coming from inside the house. Yes, so here I am. I'm covering all the shows for February. Lucky you guys. Jay's off doing other things, other portions of the business need attending to. I think we're going to fix some glitches on the website and all this other cool stuff. So I'm going to be sitting in, and sitting in I am. Let me tell you, I'm pretty stoked. At least for tonight's show. We'll see how next week goes, whatever. But today we have Marshall from Brülosophy. Marshall, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on again, man.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you were on Dr. Homebrew like a year ago or whatever, right?
Almost exactly.
Yeah. And you do, in short, you do a bunch of experiments with beer, with homebrew.
That's all. That's it.
Trying to figure things out. Yeah, man. And so we try to do that, but, look, nobody has time for that anymore. So, in a way, we're outsourcing it to you, even though you've been doing this for, like, years and years. It's now our idea.
Years and year.
Years and year.
It's almost been 2 years exactly.
Oh, really?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, because people, quote you and talk about you. It seems like you've kind of been in the homebrew industry for a long time.
I think it's because we do so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bev's fixing his microphone here.
What a producer.
Yeah, look at you. Nice work, Bev.
Second week.
Yeah.
We got some coasters. But we do. We're pushing out one every week, and so I think it injects. It injects
into the stream there.
It injects the online world with data. Yeah, so
I think it fires people up too. I'm pretty excited about it. Looking on your website and checking some stuff out, I'm pretty stoked. It actually has me thinking about homebrew again, which is something I try to avoid altogether, like crossing the street outside of an crosswalk.
Yeah.
You just don't want to do it.
The fact that Brülosophy has gotten you thinking about homebrew again is pretty exciting to me, actually.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I'm stunned.
That's true. So we're going to talk to Marshall a little bit. Not only are we going to talk about mash temp and fermentation temp and what those may or actually may not mean to your beer. Shocking, I know. He also has a couple triangle tests for us to do. So we're going to be tasting a couple beers in the studio, talking about what may or may not be different with them. Well, I guess they're all different, but still, it's going to be a fun time. And we're going to talk some homebrews. This is I'm pretty excited about it. I feel like it's been a long time since we've just sat down and done a straight up homebrew show.
Probably the last time you hosted.
Probably the last. Noticing a theme?
That might be the last time.
Yeah.
I remember Nate sitting over there.
That's true. Yeah,
right. I believe you're right.
Yeah, the hops. Right. All those hops from Nico Brews. Pretty cool. Before we get started, though, of course, I got to go through all the crap that I don't want to go through, and you probably don't want me to go through it either, but I'm going to do it because I don't care. If you want to support the Brewing Network, which I highly suggest that you do, because quality entertainment like this doesn't come cheap, let me tell you, I work for $1. Go to our Amazon link on our page and go to thebrewingnetwork.com, and there's a link right there. Do all your shopping through that link. We get a little bit of cash for the referral, and you get the same high-quality stuff from Amazon that you've always been getting. You can also donate. Hit the donate button, become a reoccurring donor. You get a bunch of cool stuff. Not only do you get advanced information on what's going on. If we have tickets for sale, if Winterfest had happened already, you would have known about that a couple months ago. But sign up now, and you can know about it when it happens in April, of course, and be the first to get some tickets there. You can go in our BN store and buy some merchandise and be the best dressed home brewer at the next fest you're at, man.
It's a low bar.
It's a very low bar. I saw one of the guys from Firestone, Jim. I forget his last name. Anyway, he does the sour program at Firestone.
Crooks?
I think so, yeah. I posted this photo, what looked like an artichoke in a bunghole on a barrel, and I was like, that's dangerously close to a hop grenade.
Copyright infringement.
Back off. And everyone's like, is that an artichoke? And I'm like, I don't know.
Kind of had that, yeah.
I don't even want to bring it in. Thanks, guys, for being here, especially Tasty.
It's not easy.
Well, SF Beer Week just ended, or is it still going?
No,
I don't even know.
It ended,
I think it lasts a month.
It ended yesterday, but I ended it on Saturday night.
You did?
Yeah.
You said you're done.
I'm done with this.
What did you do? Anything better than last time?
No, actually, it was not as, I don't know. I don't take it quite as seriously. I used to try to hit more than one event a day.
Yeah.
Realized that's kind of, and that was all about feeling bad not being able to go to them all, right? So,
is that what it was?
Yeah. So that was useless. So I stopped doing that. So, I went to some good ones. So I went to one. I think it was called Women in Beer. It was at
of course you did.
Firehouse. Yeah. It's not like I was there, going to do it because it was just, because women and me, and all that.
Right.
I already knew all these women, so it was like, they know my deal. It's the new ones that I like. So speaking of which,
hanging out with friends.
Yeah. It was billed, and in some ways it was sort of thing where women who would like to get into the beer industry can come and talk to women who are already in it.
Okay.
I don't know how to do that. And
that sounds kind of cool.
It was actually happening. In fact, I could tell when somebody came in that wasn't in the industry
because it had big saucers for eyes.
Totally, and I go, I would go over and say, well, how are you doing? So and so.
See,
what do you want to do? I go, I know just the person for that. So I would take them over to the brewer, or the salesperson, or the owner, whatever their interest was.
So you're like the senior, getting in on freshman orientation.
Well, I knew all the women
/ recruiter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I did several of those.
God, that's a good move.
It is.
Look at you.
Yeah.
You've learned a thing or two in your years.
I did.
Nice
really, I do a
work.
lot of enjoyment about getting people information that they need, for sure.
Well, yeah, but sure. That the women. That's like saying, "Oh, yeah, I went to the hydroponics in beer event." Of course you did. It doesn't make sense.
No.
It's like saying Warren went to a beard competition.
It is like saying.
By the way, did you go to that beard competition?
I did go. You invited me, and so since I said I was going on Facebook, whatever that was a month ago, I felt obligated.
Yeah, Facebook is the new I promise I will be there.
Right.
Yeah.
I figured if I agreed to it a month ago, I can't change my mind now.
That's right.
No, you can't.
So I went. And it'll be the last beard competition I ever do.
Wow.
You, this is actually a real thing. You actually did this.
I actually did it.
And where was it?
It was at Drake's. Drake's did a beer and beard night.
Okay.
And they had some people come down from People's, which is a barbershop in the area, I guess.
Yeah.
And they were the judges, and they just called everybody up, and they had a lady that went through and was like combing through your beard, making sure there weren't any chunks of hamburger and
like making you look like you're not an orangutan in a zoo somewhere.
Right, making sure you actually take care of yourself and have proper hygiene.
Okay, good. You had a den mother. That's nice.
Right. And after that, they just handed out the prizes.
So, okay.
And there's a lot of staring and gawking and clapping. And
that's what happens just whenever you go anywhere. We went out the other night to see the Schumann's play, and it was like nonstop, bro, sick beard, brah. Brad. If you want to ride my lifted truck, I
already don't like that when it's one-on-one individual contact, let alone a room of people staring at me.
So, was anybody else as proficient in the follicle arts as you, or were you the only one?
There was the East Bay sales rep from Speakeasy who came in second place. had about 5 or 6 inch beard, which was pretty good. Yeah, he took care of it, and it looked good on him.
Okay, all right, and I'm assuming
That's his professional opinion.
Yeah,
and
I assume you won.
He looked real handsome.
Yeah.
So we're all assuming that you won, right? That's the Okay,
That's why I sent you.
Right. Yeah.
Hey, look, you could win this.
As people were, I was on the far side of the room when they called everybody or said, "Hey, if you're interested, come on up." And when I stood up, there were people who had already walked up to the front and that sat back down. Yeah.
That shit ain't wasteful. That might get worn.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad. I was like, no, you should still participate.
Did was there a participation award?
Turns out there was, and so those guys, the quitters, didn't get a free T-shirt. So yeah.
Jeez. So what did you win? What do you win at the best beard in the place award?
It was a bucket full of Sierra Nevada and Drake's swag, and a free growler fill, and we got our dinner paid for. Like they gave us a gift card that covered dinner and a couple rounds, and so it was well worth it.
Excellent.
And got some Sierra Nevada mustard too, which I'm pretty excited about.
Okay, I thought they didn't make that anymore.
No, it's in my grocery store.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like it.
I just had it at the pub, and so I didn't even know they packaged
you can
it.
buy it. They've had it on the market quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
If you like it, you can buy it again.
It's good stuff. We used to sell it at More Beer, like when it kind of first started, and people would buy it, but maybe it
doesn't taste like beer to me.
It doesn't taste like beer, but I think maybe they thought it was weird buying mustard at a homebrew store.
Yeah, one of these guys.
It's just weird, man.
Like, what are we usually on your list?
Yeah,
when you're going to the homebrew shop.
And I think, but maybe when like Safeway started carrying it, people were like, "I'll just get it. I'll just have the wife get it or whatever."
Yeah,
it's more normal there.
It is more normal there. Well, look at you! Congratulations, Warren. You won something.
Yeah, and I'm going out on top. I won one, and my career's over.
That's good. Huh?
Yeah,
retired beard champion.
Yeah,
that'll be a good shirt.
Well, now you can just go and not compete. Just kind of go. Yes. You guys all look great.
Yeah.
Very good.
You guys have fun.
Yeah. What did that guy tell you outside of Minar the other night? Best beard I've seen since Jack Passion.
Yeah.
And you're like, ugh.
Yeah, he did say that.
And what I realized is, when I'm walking down the street with like Taryn or Bev or any female, women don't go, "Hey, I love your hair. It's so long. It's shiny. What do you do to it? Do you put like coconut oil? What are you doing? How long have you been growing your hair?" But what is it about beards that make men just bro up instantly?
Removes people's inhibitions, apparently.
It's a brophrodisiac.
And even women, too, sometimes.
Oh, no, I've seen it run up and just want to, "Can I touch it?" And he goes, "Yeah."
Well, this one...
Oh, yeah.
So Minar, if you've never been to Minar in Danville...
It's a Cougar Lounge.
It's a Cougar Lounge, for sure. It's like, I think the oldest bar in Danville. It's been around since 1904, I think, legitimately.
Those Cougars were young when it opened.
Yeah, they built it. They sewed the curtains. There's a whole thing. So it's just this... It's Cougarville, for sure. And this older lady was walking by doing salsa. I don't know what she was doing, but Schumann's band was playing. They were doing a cover band, and so it was a very inappropriate dance for the music that was playing. But she walks by and smiles and like strokes Warren's beard and doesn't say anything, doesn't ask me anything. So I reach out and I pet her hair, I stroke her hair.
Right.
And then she looked at me and I'm like, well, I thought that's just what you do.
That's what we're doing, right? Yeah.
It's just the weirdest, man. Like, whatever. Get in your Tesla and get out of here.
I've thought about doing that. I'm just not... I don't feel angry enough about it at the time to make them feel as uncomfortable as they're making me feel.
Yeah, I suppose I try to make everything a learning moment, and I probably shouldn't.
Well, I enjoyed you doing that and appreciate it, and wish I was brave enough to do it all the time.
Yeah. I got to stand by my man.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's do some feedback. I wish we had the theme music, but I don't have it. I don't think it was imported since Martinez.
We haven't played it in a long time.
I think it's just lost. But
banjos are an old instrument.
Does it want to hold for me? No, Bev's not having a good day.
Arms are flying.
It's probably somebody calling about a bill.
I don't even know. She's not talking to me, is she?
No, she's on the phone.
Okay. Here's feedback. Justin, I hope you are enjoying your month plus off. Yeah, me too. Seriously, JP, I hope they are paying you enough to care for your family. Bevo too.
How much do you care for your family?
I don't know. Here's a show idea. Keg some fancy water and further dress it up to impress your guests without getting shit-faced. My boss and I talk about beer all the time, and he just got a kegerator. I warned him about the detrimental effects and suggested putting club soda on one tap. I suppose that's maybe at work. That's what I do. I have club soda on one tap. I think it's amazing. Yeah. I know Drew Beecham is now on a competing podcast, but I read he lost several stone. Which, a stone is like 14 and a half or so pounds.
Yep.
So he lost like 100 Jay was right, like 105 pounds.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight. Yeah.
So this could be a useful show tie-in, but hey, let's see what your new producer can do with it. Bevo, you are a saint. Thank you for your service, Ben. P.S. I really do appreciate all you folks do. I will see you in Baltimore with a heartfelt handshake. Thank you. Ben is, he sounds like one of those, like, I love you, man, drunks.
So he wants us to have Drew on to talk about weight loss?
What was that about? I don't get the gist of that.
I don't know. That's what I mean.
I thought it was me, Warren. Thank you.
I think he was kind of plowed and was just like, I love these dudes. I'm totally going to tell them. Yeah. Drew and Denny Kahn now have a podcast. I forget what it's called, but I think they do a lot of the experimental homebrewing stuff, like in their book. And
it's that theme. I think.
Well, we had them on the show when their book was brand new.
That's right.
They never had me on, so it must be sort of like
they've had me on
lower level. Yeah.
Well, they probably got the podcast.
Marshall on. Look at that.
They probably got the podcast idea from us.
They'll get to me eventually, I guess.
Such a novel idea.
Yeah. You're just they're just working down the list.
Yeah, up the list. I was going to say up the list.
Right. I was going to say up the.
Maybe overgrown sense of.
Bev's still on the phone. I wonder.
What was she? Maybe she's ordering dinner and just let her go.
Maybe.
Oh,
well, I think it's a caller.
Tell her we're going to be done early.
She looks really interested.
Yeah, you look very interested, Bev. What's happening over there?
Now she just started hearing us, or not?
Are you talking to me?
What you want?
I was just checking in.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're good.
All right,
Make
great.
sure everybody's all up.
I just that was a nice man whose name I have promptly forgotten. From Tampa, who was not sober. But they are having a 2-1A launch party there.
Oh, wow.
So he was there, and he was just super excited to be getting 2-1A beer. And
was his name Ben?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It might have been. I don't know.
No,
I promptly forgot.
I sometimes forget that you don't have your headphones on all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
anyway.
I can't, it's hard to talk on the phone with headphones on.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. No problem.
This is from Casey. He says, Dan Gordon and Charlie Bamforth are consistently the best two guests you ever have on the show. And that's saying a lot, considering all of the amazing people that you've ever had on the show. Thank you for the great show and all of the information. This guy says show a lot. It's pretty cool. Be an Army for life. Sincerely, Casey Adams. I agree, Casey. They're, those two people knock it out of the park each and every time they're on, man.
Great show.
And then, unfortunately, last but not least, we only had 3 pieces of feedback. Sent from my iPhone says, I write in response to the feedback sent by the person claiming JP is a better host than Justin. Now, I don't remember this ever happening, so,
It happened.
It did happen.
It did?
Last week.
It happened, yeah.
Well sent. I appreciate it. Nothing against JP. He's a great co-host, and the show would not be the same without him. However, Justin is a much better host and a great interviewer. Keep in mind, this was the same man/woman who has no sense of humor and was offended by the Women in Beer episode. This person's opinion cannot be trusted. Keep up the good work. Sent from my iPhone. Well, I agree. I guess. I don't know. I mean, what do you want from me?
Which one was the person who can't be trusted?
I don't know. I was saying this person, so maybe they refer to themselves in the third person.
The one who said you weren't a good host, or the one who said you were?
You got me. I have no idea.
Whatever. I don't trust it.
Yeah, I replied to the email, but my dad responded back, so I don't know if things got mixed up. I dialed the wrong number or whatever.
Emails are hard to work.
Emails are tough, dude. Okay, we're gonna take a break, and then when we come back.
I have a Twitter game.
Oh, that's right. Thank you very much. I didn't write it on my notes. Warren, we have a Twitter game.
My first Twitter game.
Can we ask JP if you got? Can you ask him if he got a game? That'd be. You're following the protocol.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Hey, Warren, do we have a Twitter game?
There you go.
Yeah, actually, we do have a Twitter game.
Okay, the Twitter game today is brought to you by the Labruski Cruise. Come join us on the Labruski Cruise. You can find out all about it. Go to thebrewingnetwork.com, and there's a big old thing. I'm looking at it right now. It says Cruise with the BN. And let's all pretend to not get the Sitka virus.
But actually get it?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's see. Go ahead, Warren.
Since today is the 37th anniversary of homebrew getting legalized federally. Even though the act was actually signed in the middle of October, apparently it took 3.5 months for Jimmy Carter to finish signing his name or something. I don't know why it took that long.
Well,
but
a lot of things have an effective date, posted out there, for recording of things.
Why don't you slow down a little bit?
I mean, it was the 70s, so things were happening. They were busy. Anyway, today is the date that it's actually recognized, I guess.
Okay.
So I posed the question: if one of the Brewcasters was president, what would they legalize?
Oh,
yeah,
it's pretty good.
It was my first time.
Hey, look, man, I think you did great. You strung words together in a semi-coherent sentence.
I think I spelt them all right.
And that's all we can ask for, really.
Well, great.
Yeah.
I thought about just asking, hey, it's my first Twitter game. What should I ask?
That would have been probably better. That would have been a better one.
Well, there's next week.
Yeah, that should
it's
be
my second Twitter game.
That should be the next week's one. There you go. See, folks, you get a jump start on what we're going to ask for the day. All right, whatever. Okay, can we take a break now, Warren?
Are
you doing grandstanding?
Do you have anything more things that you forgot?
I don't. All right, this is Session, everyone. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Marin Brewing Company in Northern California has been making award-winning beers for more than 25 freaking years. Today, I want to tell you about their new 12-ounce cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale. The good stuff, Mount Tam is bright gold, 5.5% ABV to keep you feeling good, and has been winning awards since 1989. If you're visiting the Bay Area, get your butt out to Marin Brewing Company. They pour tasty beers and serve great food every day until midnight. Come in for a tour, stay for the food, and pick up a 6-pack of cans of Mount Tam Pale Ale to enjoy at home, camping, biking, or whatever the hell you do. Owner Brendan Moylan has this to say about Marin Brewing beers.
It's freaking awesome.
Marin Brewing has won more than 100 gold medals in international competitions. Check out marinbrewing.com for all their award-winning beers, food, and merch. Marin Brewing Company in Larkspur, California. Award-winning taste, refreshing finish. It's freaking awesome.
Ken Grossman of Sierra Nevada Brewing Company says making great beer is hard. Making the same great beer every day is harder. Brewers Publications announces its latest release for breweries of any type and size. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers by Mary Pelletieri. Proper quality management for small, regional, and national breweries is critical. Whether you are an established business or brand new, learn the best ways to create and manage a quality system in your brewery. This book will guide you in developing a comprehensive program that will grow with your brewery, help ensure quality processes in the brewery, and continue providing great beer for your fans. Quality management for breweries is critical for continued success. This guidebook teaches you to integrate quality management in every level of the operation. It will guide you in developing a comprehensive program to ensure quality processes in your brewery. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers, now available from Brewers Publications. Learn more at brewerspublications.com.
The
21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring Monk's Blood. Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zainashev's consent is...
The Brewcasters are back. 888-401 beer.
Whatever.
All right, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. Let's get to the good stuff, man, because I'm excited to have Marshall here. Marshall from Brülosophy. Brülosophy.com, right?
.com, yes.
Yeah, and it's BRU.
Yeah, don't put the umlaut. Yeah.
Don't put the That'd be kind of amazing if you could, though.
I'd have a hard time doing it.
Yeah. It's Alt
I have
064 0220.
0220.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you're on a Mac, it's Control K.
Of course.
Why not? No, that's the degree sign. Anyways.
Somewhere you'll get it.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
You probably type that a lot.
Google it all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
So what's your homebrewing experience, man? I want to get in the background of why the hell you're so interested in what everybody else does in their mash tun.
I'm not interested in what they're doing. So I started, I think the first batch, I've been trying to kind of nail it down. The first batch I brewed was January of 2003, I believe, and like a lot of people, I picked up an extract and steeping grain kit.
Yeah.
Irish Red Ale, and it came out okay, so I kept going. I took a little bit of a hiatus in between about late 2003 and 2009, just kind of helping guys out.
Sure, it's common.
Yeah, grad school stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And, I got a house, and my wonderful wife gave me the third bay. And so I just kind of jumped right into it really hard.
Garage?
Yeah, third bay of the garage.
Cool.
Yeah, not a piece of water.
Hey, I don't know. She might be really wealthy.
No. Yeah.
Well, she did have 3 garages.
This whole bay is yours.
But, Warren, we live in Fresno.
Oh, okay.
So, but, I started brewing a lot. And I think like a lot of people, the beer was good, and I was having fun doing that. But I wasn't really into competitions or anything that kept me coming back except for the beer. And so just in my attempt to kind of look for something fun to do and to keep me involved in it, I decided to start testing stuff out. And for no other reason than just to satiate my curiosity. A lot of people think that we're out here to try to prove stuff wrong, and that's not the case.
That's not what you're trying to do.
No.
Yeah. So you just want some sort of scientific basis for the things that you're actually doing. So you're reading a book. If you want to, for example, like what we're going to talk about today, if you want a maltier beer, what do you do, Tasty? If you want a maltier beer,
tend to mash higher.
You mash higher. So if you have a 150 mash, and someone goes, "Well, try mashing higher to get a little more residual sugar," that's the kind of stuff you wanted to go. Does that actually work?
Yeah. Well, and more so, what difference does it make? Was the question that I always wondered. And it was. I started off doing this stuff before I had a website or anything like that, and I would share it in different forums, and kind of randomly when people would ask about, this is my little experiment I did. And just the encouragement of other people out there, I decided to throw it all in one place so it'd be easier to find. And that's kind of the genesis of Brülosophy, yeah.
I'm on your website, and you have a ton of information. For only being around for a year and a year and a half?
Yeah, ADHD.
Wow. That's crazy, dude.
Or OCD, one of those. Yeah. Psychology,
something like that. How many tests have you actually done? Because I'm not going to count all this shit. I got too much to do.
We've done 2 pages of tests.
2 pages. I could have done that. That's easy enough.
Yeah, way easy. I think we're pushing about 70 experiments altogether.
Wow.
Yeah, we do one a week. We publish one a week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I've got 4 other guys who are on board helping me out with this. We all kind of have a nerdy, allegiance to figuring stuff out. Ray Found, Malcolm Frazier, and Matt Waldron and Greg Foster, all the guys who are helping out with this stuff. So we all contribute pretty much equally at this point.
And you call them the experiments.
That was a mistake at the very beginning, and you can't run away from that. I kind of like the X capital B MTS, I guess, because it's different. But yeah. I thought I was being really clever, and I realized how dorky it was.
I did the same thing on my Disney podcast, Ears Up.
Oh yeah,
I spelled it with a Z.
Oh. Awesome.
And I instantly regretted it because it's like, oh, what are you, stupid?
Yeah.
So, because I thought, we'll probably get like the teenager kind of, the people who are into podcasts but are still super into Disney. Yeah, who spell things with Z's. I'm like, it's a thing. We're fresh and new, and then
like
now,
Boyz II Men.
No, exactly like Boyz II Men, although wider. And now it's like it's a 5-minute explanation on every show, and I just feel like an idiot, and then I get lost in my head overthinking the shit that anyway.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of cool. So you have you have experiments. Or experiments.
Oh, come on.
Is this how you justified the homebrewing hobby to your wife?
Yeah.
He was like, it's fine if we spend money on it. It's for science.
For science. If only she appreciated science, right?
Right.
No, I'm pretty cool. I'm very lucky. She's very, very supportive of this stuff, and we've worked it out to where I can keep doing it.
You have some collaborators now. You have some helpers.
Yeah.
So you've done stuff like roasted grains, full mash versus capped at Vorloff.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about? I mean, just rough, the rough.
Yeah.
Ideas,
so I believe it was Gordon Strong who wrote about originally, where I read it at least, capping the mash with roasted grains. You've probably heard about this, Tasty.
Yeah, top mash. You just put the grains on top of the mash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Last 10 minutes or
just
something.
to get color, not flavor, right?
That's the premise.
Yeah.
Well, the theory is to not affect your pH, your mash pH.
Oh, okay.
Because roasted malts are acidic, and so that roast is going to pull your pH down. And so the idea is to produce a smoother, stout or porter or whatever it might be, without adding the roasted grains at the 60-minute mark. You're going to do it. You're going to produce a smoother. You're not going to affect the mash pH really. And so what I was curious about was whether or not it would have an impact on the final product.
I don't think it would actually. We'll find out. How'd that turn out?
No, we're not going to talk about that one. It didn't. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's.
It didn't.
I don't remember all these, JP. So
it didn't matter.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah.
But they appeared the same color. But
actually, the capped mash was a little bit lighter.
That's what I expect.
It's a different mic, Warren. Sorry, so you got to just approach it a different way. Perfect.
A little more to the left. So the capped mash was a little bit lighter. The full mash, what we called the full mash, was darker.
Sure.
Not significantly darker, but it was noticeably in a small
time
glass.
to work the colors out of there. Yeah. So get them all softened up and yeah.
But flavor-wise, people were not reliably, and these are blind tasters. I think we had a panel of 18 to 20 on that one.
Yeah. So tell us how you do this, because in the second half of the show, we are going to be his panel of tasters, and so he's going to have a triangle test and all that kind of good stuff. But how do you do it in the real world?
Yeah, so typically I was just doing it out here in the bar. What we'll do is whether I'm inviting some people over to my place, we all do that, or we'll go out to places that are cool with us, serving beer in their bar for this type of data collection, and we'll get the participants who kind of go around and ask if people are cool with doing it. We usually try to find folks who are interested in craft beer for the most part. Usually it's at homebrew club meetings and stuff like that. We present to them 3 different colored cups, and we pour beer into those cups and ask them, 2 are the same, one's different. And we ask them to select the one that's unique, the different one.
Okay.
And from there, all we do is we take the data and we based on how many are expected to be correct in order to be significant, and we run the data and we do a comparison based on that. Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong. If you can pick the one that's different, then you qualify. For your results qualify to be considered, or even if you don't.
Data.
So you can't find the one that's different.
If you can find the one that's different, you'll be pushed on to do a comparative evaluation.
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
but it's very brief. It's a very brief. No. Yeah.
Review your tax information and Social security number and all that stuff.
Yeah. We need that.
Yeah. And then, but unless the results imply significance, from a statistical perspective, we can say that even those who were right selected correctly by chance. Right? That's the idea behind probability values. And
unless they can describe the specific off flavor or difference, you don't count it.
We don't give them that option.
but well, I mean, how do you based on their verbal evaluation? How do you decide whether or not
it's not verbal? We have them do it on digitally. So they give they give a very brief evaluation. The idea is, 99% of what we focus on is the triangle test.
Okay.
Which is just a sensory discrimination. Again, two are the same, one's different. If you can't pick out the one that's different, then arguably you're out of the game.
Right.
We still have you go and complete it just so you feel like
you don't.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no hurt feelings.
Right. No,
we're all winners. Yes.
I think that was a change after Dr. Homebrew, actually.
Oh, really?
Because the people who got it wrong were like, "That was quick." Yeah. So we have everybody do the same thing. It's just slightly tweaked. But even for those, it doesn't matter statistically if somebody gets it right and they're capable of describing and pointing out exactly what the variable was despite being blind. If the amount of people that were able to get it right does not reach the level of significance, then it sort of doesn't matter from a numbers perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying that even if there is a statistical proof that it does matter, you then can discredit some people who picked it correctly based just on luck.
Oh no! If we get a statistically significant result, then again statistically we can assume that the folks who got it right. I mean, there's going to be some false positives, of course. But,
okay, sure.
But you can still.
And those are like chances or just people guessing on luck. False positive?
Yeah, you got a 30% chance of guessing the right one.
Okay,
with three.
Yeah.
But if it's statistically significant, then there's a good chance that the folks who got it right were capable of picking it out. And it's interesting to observe when people do these on the ones that are really identifiable because it's very quick and it's almost always by aroma alone.
Okay.
This is something I've talked with the other guys about, and they'll say, yeah, you can tell on the ones that are very different. They smell them and almost immediately go to their phone and then have to go back and taste again because they forgot to taste. Yeah.
Wow. So it's just almost like you just people watching, or maybe some sort of like psychological experiment, maybe where you just see it and you instantly go, that's it.
That's my I love that part of it.
That's pretty neat. I like that.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot of cool shit over here.
Thanks, man.
It's the Great Pumpkin Experiment. Part 1, does pumpkin make a difference?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Wort aeration, nothing versus pure oxygen. Dry hop quantity, a little versus a lot. All sorts of fun stuff,
Was
man.
the pumpkin one, did you spice two beers, but one had pumpkin and spice and the other one just had spices?
Exactly. So Malcolm, who lives out in Pittsburgh, he's one of the contributors for Brülosophy. He has a very popular pumpkin beer that he makes, and I believe it's won a few awards and whatnot. And I believe the story goes he's always added pumpkin to it. So for this particular batch, he brewed the same exact beer, and when one of them got pumpkin and the other one didn't, and I don't remember all of the results, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. People didn't notice a difference. Yeah,
I would tend to agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just don't drink pumpkin beer, so I have no idea.
Squash character is pretty light. I mean, it's pretty light flavor.
Yeah, well, I think you can replicate it with crystal malts because essentially that's kind of the roasted sugars, right?
Oh, he didn't roast it. It wasn't roasted. That's for next year, JB.
Okay.
Don't give it away.
Sorry.
We got a whole series.
Whoa. Shit. I'm so stupid. Just an idiot. Remind me, though, I think I picked out the different beer. I was a successful person on Dr. Homebrew.
Doing the pumpkin one?
No, not pumpkin. I forget what we talked about on
it. Was
Dr.
fermentation
Homebrew.
temperature. It was and Warren, you were there as well.
I remember that.
I don't remember that.
I remember being there. That's all I remember.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't remember you being there.
That was the very first fermentation temperature experiment that we did, and I got a lot of shit for it because I used a hybrid strain. My thinking originally was So I use WLP029, which is the Kolsch yeast. Yeah.
Okay.
One of my favorite strains. Personally, I think it makes a perfectly good lager beer as well. And I know people get up in arms about that, but. So for that one, I thought, well, if it's a Kolsch is known for being slightly fruity. If I ferment one of them warm and one cool, we should experience less fruit in one or less fruity esters in one.
That would be the
right.
That'd be the logic.
Yeah, and that one was that one was not significant. But I do believe you got it right.
That's right. That's all I needed. That's all I wanted.
That's all. So basically, it was significant.
Very small difference. Only great palate could have picked that out.
That's right. JP the super taster.
That's right.
Also, anyone 1 in 3 chance of getting it right.
Well, look, Warren, you know what?
But a great palate.
Yeah.
Anyone. Yeah.
Don't blow my candle out to make yours burn brighter, okay? You probably got it wrong, so don't worry
I probably
about it.
did.
Warren, you got it wrong.
Yeah. Well, because you used a Kolsch strain.
That's
wrong.
right. And it was a Schwartz beer. And,
right.
Jesus.
Yeah, it covered up all the differences.
I was up in arms.
You know what, Marshall? Get out of here.
Yeah, later. Yeah.
So from your entire site, I wanted to talk about a couple things, which apparently ended up being the most popular things that you guys have linked back to. Mash temp and fermentation temp.
Yeah.
Because I want to know if it matters, and I think that those two things are probably the most focused on, and honestly the most stressed on part of your brew day. Your mash temp. Oh my God, I didn't hit 154. My whole batch is ruined. And you rage quit. You know what I mean?
There are very expensive and or intricate pieces of equipment produced for homebrewers designed to specifically regulate mash temp within 0.2 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
And so that really spiked my curiosity about that one. Is all this work really even worth it?
Right. So how do you approach something like that? So let's say you and the guys get together and you go, you know what I want to do is figure out, does that 2 degree differential actually matter?
Yeah. Okay. So usually what we'll do is we'll say, okay, and rather than doing 2 degrees, let's really test the extremes on this one.
Okay.
For some things, there are those things that I think keeping a more kind of like real world perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But on this one, we have to be able to brew simultaneously or consecutively, like batch one after the other, because I don't want. To me, extraneous variables can be introduced with time. And so if I make one batch and then I wait 2 hours or overnight and I make another batch, that's kind of concerning to me because who knows what happened to that batch that's been sitting there or if you pitched it early or whatever. I like to pitch at the same time and let them go. And so for like a mash temp experiment, I'll design a beer and then in Beersmith, I'm a big fan of Beersmith.
Oh, yeah, we love Beersmith.
I love Beersmith, yeah. And then I'll just copy and paste it, and I have two, and I just change the mash temp and follow what it tells me to do. And so I believe one of them was 148?
147 to 161.
So, yeah, so 147, 161, mashed them side by side. I separated them by 20 minutes so that I wasn't forced to do too much at the same time.
Yeah.
So 20-minute differential, and then chill them down to the same temp, let them sit next to each other in the same chamber.
So you try to control as many of the variables, anything that could throw off your experiment as possible. But realistically, you're not in a laboratory.
So you're
in a garage in Fresno.
Well,
did someone pick out that one beer was 20 minutes older?
I feel like this beer is telling me that you didn't. Whatever. So
I know you got it there. What was the grain bill?
Yeah. What kind of beer did you make?
There's a link right in front of you.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I think it's on here.
Whoa.
The whole show.
You're making the host do the work.
Yeah, well, it's on here. He took my paper from. It's a blonde ale, so it was
not many specialty malts at all.
No,
I was hoping you would know, Marshall. All right.
Yeah, I did know you took my paper from me.
So probably Pilsner, some 2-row.
I actually believe it was mostly 2-row, some C10.
Okay, C10.
It's a pretty popular web. It's a pretty popular recipe on the web. Centennial Blonde Ale from Beer Muncher on Homebrew Talk. Yeah,
good for him.
Yeah, and really common.
Good for him.
He's gonna go places.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah. Really good beer, actually. Simple beer, yeah.
All right, so that sounds reasonable. Okay.
Yeah, and so my reason in choosing, I do a lot of really pale beers that are really simple and not too hoppy for this type of stuff because, really because we got a lot of complaints about the beers being too hoppy or being too dark or whatever.
Okay.
To really taste the differences. So I'm kind of appeasing the crowd there and I thought it was a good one, and so we mashed at 147, and the other one got mashed at 161, and everything else was exactly the same. Foil length. Yeah.
Would it be easier to tell any differences on a lighter beer? Does that also help, or
what do you think?
Or does it matter?
I'm sorry. What's the question?
Well, no,
it was just to the floor. Yeah,
I think so. Think so. Would it be easier to on a lighter beer? Would it be easier to tell apart that difference in mash temp? Or do you think it would be?
I'm just talking any difference, like just any sort of small variable, the things you're doing.
To me, it would be the body in the beer. Yeah. That's okay. The color wouldn't matter too much here at all,
because that could get in the way of maybe what you're perceiving, right?
Yeah,
maybe.
But my thing is, like, if I was going to mash a beer at 160 something, let's just say like 158 or something like that. I'd be doing that for a reason, right?
Tasty can't go above. He just can't do it.
Well,
149 is his cap.
His thermometer's only good at
158 is not everybody's 158.
Right.
I mean, that's true about anybody that mashes, commercial or amateur. But if I was going to be mashing high, I'd be doing it for a reason, and my malt bill would also reflect that reason. Be more dextrinous sort of malt bill. I'd have carapils or Cara something or foam, Cara wheat.
If you were mashing high?
If I was mashing high, I'm just saying that, well, I guess I'm not saying anything really other than in the real world, I would actually, use a more, go for a more dextrinous wort if I was mashing that high.
Yeah.
And that'd be by formula as well.
Yeah. I think for me in the past, I don't think I've ever mashed a beer higher than about 158. And that was, actually, that was, I believe, because of a Can You Brew It, where they talked about, Deschutes being Black Butte being mashed at like 161 or 162, something like that.
Really?
I was still too scared to go that high. Yeah.
Right.
And for me, if I want a nice dry, really crisp, whether it's an IPA or a Pilsner, I'm going to mash at 148 to 151. Oh. Yeah. And so, or if I'm including a lot of crystal malts or less fermentable type malts, I'll mash lower to kind of compensate for that. That was my approach.
Okay, so you're adding body to it without, not from the fermentation temp,
while still drying it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'd mash higher on. I mean, I think the obvious styles for mashing warm are like stout, porter.
I use it session beers for instance. We're trying to make a lot of body to offset the hop level.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeast health comes into play here too, because at Heretic with Grammary, the session, we would mash at 158 on our system.
Yeah.
And it would still finish out at 1010. Mm-hmm. And so, we used 001, and so it's a really strong, very active yeast. Mm-hmm. And so, depending on the yeast strain, like if you use an English strain that might flock out early and everything, I don't know this for a fact, it would be a good experiment. Trying this with different yeast strains and seeing if the terminal gravities are different.
Yeah.
Amongst like 01 to 02 on the same high mash temperature.
Yeah. So combine the variable of yeast selection
and mash temperature.
I like that. That's a good idea. Yeah.
You can have that for free.
It's on the list.
Yeah, it's an idea for you.
What I like about your link here is you have a bunch of photos. It's well documented.
Yeah, I like photo books.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Low temp, low mash temp, high mash temp. Well, I kind of look at you, dude.
Well, I kind of cut my chops in actual research stuff in school, and to me, it was I always wanted to see proof that what was written was done, and so pictures seem to do that.
That makes sense. That makes sense, man.
Yeah, I can always lie.
All this up,
I could totally.
Yeah, it could be the same.
Trust me.
The same beer, but you just wrote low mash on one and high mash on the other. You're like, these people are never going to know.
It's actually a mirror image. I wrote it all backwards.
Look at you, and see, even this on a homebrew scale, your beer is clearer than some commercial beer that I've had today.
I'm a gelatin user, by the way. If you are a vegetarian, don't drink the beer today.
If you're a vegetarian, you can get out. Okay, so you had
jelly.
Yeah, well, and you do tests on that too, right? You do all sorts of shit.
In fact, that's one. John Palmer and I have been talking a little bit recently about some gelatin tests and stuff. And so this weekend, in fact, I'll be brewing a new. I think it'll be. I'm still trying to decide. I think it'll be a gelatin test. And we recently just published another one about the way you add gelatin to beer. So, for example, will gelatin work if you just sprinkle it on dry after the beer's been chilled? Mm-hmm. It doesn't work.
Turns out.
Yeah, the beers taste pretty similar.
It's
actually,
good beer Jello though.
Yeah. Yeah. The beer
less pints amazing.
Yeah. The beers came out tasting about the same. I don't believe it was significant, but appearance-wise, the one that was rehydrated in a little bit of water came out significantly more bright than than the one where it was added.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by gelatin. It's a magical. I love clear beer. So
do I. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's a passion of mine. Yeah. Okay, so you have this idea, just in a general idea. You approach the guys with it, and you go, "Hey, this is what I'm trying to do," and you solicit their help, or is it kind of you just it's your deal? Do you just run on one and you pull them in when they're needed?
That's basically how it happened. Okay. And I really appreciate people who can critique without being a dick. Mm-hmm. And so
that's not in this room.
No. Yeah. Nope. Yeah, I can't wait for Warren's critique.
I like how Warren is now the asshole.
I got singled out as the dick.
You singled yourself out as the dick.
What? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
it might have been on break. So basically, the website was sort of a haphazard, people were asking for a single place to go and check this stuff out. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, let me give it a shot. I'd never done a blog or anything like that. And so I started it out and, I'd publish the results and then I'd share them in different forums and whatnot. And, a few people would comment or they'd private message me, which I always appreciate. And they'd have a really great critique, but it would be really positive. And maybe if you tried it this way next time, and that was how at the very start, that was how Greg and Ray got on board. Is that they were very critical of what I was doing, and it worked out well.
But in a good way.
In a very yeah. Well, so they stroked my ego while telling me what I could do better. Yeah,
they're probably supervisors or some sort of managerial role.
An insult compliment sandwich.
They're actually qualified to do this. Is what they're.
Thank you. Yeah. I actually, well, and then later on down the line, Malcolm came along, and then Matt's the most recent guy that I added, and I get people asking often whether or not they can contribute, and we're not a forum, so it's not you don't just like throw me your data and I post it online. We try to keep it a little bit more cinched up and tight, and I'm kind of addicted to these guys because when it comes to data collection, I'm kind of neurotic about it. I want to make sure that nobody's talking, and that everything is collected in a good way, and that what we're presenting to homebrewers out there is the most valid that shitty garage scientists can produce.
Well, that's kind of what we all are, anyways. As homebrewers, we're shitty garage scientists.
Yeah, exactly.
But yours is at least much more controlled and repeatable. But it's much more defined than I think what most people are willing to do, even on their own, to test this kind of stuff.
Yeah, probably the most common comment I get when I suggest that people try experimenting on their own is, I don't want to risk fucking up a batch.
Totally.
That sucks because it's a lot of money, and that's why you get sponsors to help you out. And,
right. Yeah. That's why I don't brew anymore. I'm too scared to fuck up a batch.
That's what Pico's for.
Well, that's true, but there's still fermentation thing.
I know. And that's the problem. What one person tastes as a fucked up batch is what another person tastes as a really good batch. And I think for Brülosophy, I keep trying to think, how do we get into the realm of testing preference, of actually comparing how preference differs among people, which is probably more in line with what my kind of professional training is in the psychology world, is that perception is so subjective, and we do have a preference question on our surveys, but since a large portion of what we're testing doesn't come back statistically significant, we don't usually report on the preference stuff because people got it wrong or like, I like this beer better. They're the same beer.
So they instantly their opinion doesn't count for anything.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Okay, so then with this test in particular, you have your recipe. You got it from the guy online. You plug it into Beersmith. And you just brew it. You just go for it.
Yeah, made a typical brew day where I did 2 batches side by side. One was mashed high, one was mashed low. Mm-hmm. Fermented them the exact same temperature in the same chamber, and all was well. There were some really interesting observations I made during this brew day for the mash temp experiment. The first one was running off the wort for the high mash temp. I'd already collected the wort for the low mash temp. And I'm kind of like Tasty. I tend to mash between 148 and 152 almost exclusively for every style, yeah. And so as I was running off the sweet wort for the high mash temp, the foam on the top was like 4 inches high.
Oh, really?
When I was collecting it, and it never fell, which suggested to me maybe higher protein content. I mean, we have no way of testing for that.
Well, there are form positive elements.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, of course.
Yeah, and derived purely from mash temp. That's the best we've got.
Well, yeah, I mean, like matter what I mash at, 152, 156, 158, I always bring it up to a knockout. To knockout. To do the sparge, I bring it to 165 for 15 minutes to loosen all that up.
And do you end up with that type of really thick?
Yeah, see that? You have a picture of it too.
This is as it was in the kettle before you put the heat on. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, I batch sparge, and I batch sparged on this one. Yeah, with this actually may have been a no sparge batch because I wanted to keep that as consistent as possible.
Makes
yeah,
sense,
yeah, and
it looks like you have star sand in there.
That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably picked up additional protein.
Just larger proteins
maybe
left.
some fat, the oil kind of thing.
No sparge batch.
No sparge batch, yeah. And so...
Did you notice any difference in the trube after the boil?
Well, JB, I think there's a picture on there.
Let's scroll down and find out.
Yeah.
No, there is no photo. You lied.
I
think if you'd have noticed it, you would have noticed it.
You were
you'd done the
liar.
second one.
But I would guess there'd be a bigger protein break also.
Yeah, the more that goes into the kettle, the more you're going to see at the bottom, right?
Yeah. So for both, because of when I saw the foam, because of the concerns about the higher protein content, at the conclusion of the boil, when I was racking them into the carboys, I gently stirred each batch so that at least I would distribute whatever trube was in there. We've done 2 or 3, I think 2 kettle trube experiments now. As well, and so I'm not concerned at all about kettle trube making it into my fermenters anymore.
No, you're not.
No. That's one that there are very few experiments, and this surprises a lot of people. There are very few of these that have actually convinced me to change my process, and one of them is a kettle trube one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that was one I was experimenting with before I started the website, and so I'm not going to report the old anecdotal data, but with the 2 experiments that we've done so far, I've been pretty pleased. I've actually personally enjoyed the clarity and the other aspects of the beers that have had higher amounts of kettle trube. Yeah.
You said higher amounts of kettle trube. You're talking about and more made it to the fermenter?
Yeah, that's right. Intentionally,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, those are typically associated with like staling agents.
Right.
Did you do like a shelf test on the beer and see if it with and without?
Yeah.
No. That's something I got to do because we don't, as a homebrewer, I don't save my beer very long.
What about knockout? Did you since you got less beer out of the one with the more trube because of the volume it took?
Yeah, actually, I fill the kegs to the same amount regardless.
So you have extra anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. Yeah, I always make a little bit extra. So I'll ferment 6.5, or about 5.5 gallons is what I'll ferment.
Okay.
And, cold crash and gelatin, I get a really compact. Whether there's a bunch of kettle trube in there or not, I get a really compact cake. Yeah.
Because one of the things I've always read and I guess regurgitated to people is that you don't want a bunch of kettle trube in for, like Tasty said, staling agents, but also because you don't want it to kind of bury the yeast or some weird thing like that. Where if you shake it up, you pitch and you shake it up and you're turning all that crap up, then you could potentially layer the yeast and so it's not doing it. And then you're looking at me like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
No,
and I think it might be right now. I don't know.
I didn't know if I was confused about what you were talking about or
who knows.
So what was your process? In order to validate that, it seemed like you'd want to do some of the things you might do during the primary or even the secondary ferment. Is like you rouse the fermenter, so maybe you would accentuate the thing by rousing it, but in real brewing, you rouse it because maybe your fermentation is lagging a little bit.
Yeah.
And you would want to do that. Did that come out in the sensory? It sounds like, since you're convinced that something you don't need to do or worry about, it must have been no difference in the 2 worts.
There wasn't, no. Mm-hmm. Perceptually, visually, appearance-wise, on both batches, I believe the second one I used gelatin on, and gelatin with extra trube.
Yeah.
Came out clearer, more bright than the one without it. Huh. And I believe it was John Palmer who I chatted with about this, and he mentioned something about lipids being in the trube,
you need some to get into the ferment
for nutrient. Yeah, exactly, and
for the yeast health.
Mm-hmm. But the idea about shelf stability, that's something we have not played with, right. Whether it's been with hot side aeration, which we found to have no significant difference. People are saying, well, hot side aeration, trube in the fermenter, those are things that are going to impact shelf stability, which to me is a commercial concern. But there's some people who like to save their homebrew.
Yeah. Sure. Well, if you're doing a big stout or a barley wine or something like that, that's kind of, That's kind of important, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, and so that's something we definitely still have to test out. Yeah,
cool.
And then even if you had more trub in there, if you treat it right and you get good clarity and you don't move it into the package, it doesn't matter.
That's what I would think. Yeah. But I don't know.
Okay, so you pulled off the no sparge method.
Yep.
And you transferred and you pitched. What do you do? You package it up. You go and tell. How many people did you talk to? Do you think
20 people on this one?
Okay, 20 people.
So for this one, we got 20 people, and based on the statistic that we use, which is a single-tailed binomial proportions test, if anyone's interested,
could you?
I don't know what that means.
Explain the formula for that.
No, I can't do that. Let me get Justin on the line.
What is it?
It's a one-tailed binomial proportions test.
Okay.
And so I can tell you a little bit about p-values because I wrote some notes down here, but getting into that stuff is kind of boring.
No, I'm a big fan of the overarching thing, and then I'll pretend to understand it, and then we can move on, and it'll be fine.
Yeah. So we had 20 people, and based on that sample size, we would need 11 to correctly select the unique beer. So just one over half.
Okay.
33% we would say is random chance, but the way statistics works is you have to get a little bit more to kind of prove that it's not random, right? Mm-hmm. So 11 people would have had to correctly select the unique beer for it to imply significance, and on that one, only 9 people were actually able to do it, which failed to achieve significance.
Okay. So in your unprofessional garage scientist opinion, the mash extremes. It's not perceptually significant, I suppose, right?
Based on to qualify this, based on
good luck with that.
The participant panel that we had, they were not reliably capable of distinguishing between a beer that was mashed at 161 and one that was mashed at 147.
And who are these people? Are they everybody? Are they just homebrewers?
They're homeless Fresno.
The guy sleeping at the end of your driveway.
Free beer. It's free beer.
Oh, I like this.
Sure, I'll do it. No, usually, for the most part, when we just wrote an article about where we compared all of our tasters based on their level of experience, and that was probably one of my most. I loved it. It was so fascinating to me. We parsed out the BJCP people who do these over the last 32 experiments, I believe it was.
Wow.
So that said, most of the folks who do this are either recognized or certified BJCP judges or homebrewers, with a few straggling just kind of craft beer junkies, and then my neighbor who's awesome, and he drinks. I got to include a couple just in my Coors Light drinking.
Any good panel needs a neighbor.
But I'll tell you what, he's when I went back and looked at he's right. Not significantly, but he's actually right.
Which is anybody.
Just as much as anybody else, yeah.
Wow. He's the common man.
He's the one I drink banquet with on the weekends. Yeah.
No, you didn't prompt them like, do you perceive more body in either one or the other like that? Or
he was wrong on this one, I think. But I don't ever do that. That's one of the things I'm kind of a nut about. I won't tell you anything about that.
So it's a complete blank.
Yep. Yeah. It's single blind because I know the variable, but it's you'll be completely blind to the nature of the experiment.
So you say online that only 4 chose the correct sample.
Are you on the right one?
I think so.
No, only 9. No, I don't think you are. I think you moved over to...
No, you said 9 tasters, and then they were asked to select the one they believe was mash warmer. Oh, I see. 4 out of the 9.
No, you're on the wrong experiment.
I'm not on the wrong experiment. No, it's the results, bro.
I know, bro, but it's
the results of a different experiment.
Exactly.
There are results to each experiment.
On the same post?
Scroll to the top. All the way to the top. You're on,
who's going to be right?
Marshall?
Are you on the mash temp one? No, there's...
High versus low temperature.
Yeah, we had 20 people on that one.
Well, yeah.
Uh-oh.
So here's what it says.
No,
a total of 20 people participated. True. See what I did. This
I know what you did. I already figured it out.
This is how I was in high school. This is why I was not good at college, because I knew I was looking for a number, and I scanned for the number and the thing. Then I read a couple words beforehand and go, I instantly am an expert on exactly what I'm talking about.
The first number you find is the answer.
So what did you do?
So
I think he had 20 people.
That's right. We had 20 people.
And 9 people got it right.
And we needed 11, though.
Right. At this point, the nature of the experiment was revealed to the 9 tasters, and then they were asked to select the one they believe was mash warmer.
So this is the part that I told you we don't usually share too much, but people ask for it. And so what we'll say is interpret this with caution, because their guess, their accuracy is as good as chance.
Okay.
Statistically speaking. So
because it's less than the 11.
That's right.
Right, yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So they could have just randomly chosen that third one out. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I'm straight now.
So 4 of them got it right, this is actually pretty interesting, and this is what we see on a lot of the ones that aren't statistically significant. You got 9 that got it right. 4, which is almost half, were capable of selecting the one that was
warmer.
That was mashed warmer.
Okay.
And the other 5 thought the one that was mashed warmer was actually the one that was mashed cooler.
Which one? Now you talked a little bit about you don't really do this a whole lot, but what do people like most? Did you figure that out? Like, did they prefer the one that was mashed lower to the one that was mashed higher?
No, they
couldn't tell the difference.
They couldn't tell the difference.
They couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, statistically couldn't tell the difference. Here's the cool thing, though.
Wow.
You got 2 beers that start off at 1040 OG.
Yeah.
One that finishes is at 1005. The other finishes at 1014. So you got 4.6% versus 3.41%.
What?
That's the session beer argument.
And really, people couldn't tell the difference.
I couldn't tell the difference. I suck, but I couldn't tell the difference. Yeah.
Wow.
These beers tasted exactly the same.
The one with more body would typically taste not as hoppy. Just because of the body is what you're offsetting, not so much the sweetness.
And my assumption was it would taste the higher, and I knew which ones were which, and I had people serve them to me side by side, and to try to, I couldn't get it.
You couldn't get it.
Reliably, no. I mean, it's 50-50 chance.
Sure.
So I was wrong just as much as I was right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were those numbers again? 1006, 1005?
1005 to 1014.
And they couldn't tell the difference.
I couldn't tell.
If you told me, hey, dude, I have this beer, one's 1005 and one's 1014, if we just talked about it, I would assume that the 1014 had more body, was sweeter, and was it would be. Of course, I could tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on? What are you doing?
A well-attenuated beer is not going to be
you.
that much sweeter.
No, half the people who read this shit don't believe me.
Oh, right.
I don't believe myself sometimes. I really, when I tasted these side by side, and I couldn't, and it was a blonde ale. I mean, you're thinking like, I'll pick it up.
There's no way you couldn't, right?
Yeah.
So how about if you let it warm up? Could you tell that?
I let these come to room temperature.
Yes.
I could not do it reliably. You'd think that body, and this was the thing that got me about, when I drink something like an Easy Jack or a Daytime, I actually don't. I'm not. The first thing that goes through my head isn't, that body. It's the first thing,
especially on that voice.
Yeah, that's how I talk to myself.
Okay,
but the first thing that goes through my head is this tastes really good. This has great flavor, and it doesn't remind me of a watery, low alcohol beer
like Heineken or Duvel.
Unless you have like a regular IPA ahead of it, then I think it does kind of.
I think so too. Yeah, exactly. And so on its own, the experience is that it just tastes like a really good hoppy ale that's not getting me wasted after I have 6-pack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I think that's the session.
So what if, and we can go on, maybe something else. What if you had made like a bigger beer, like me, you made a 1060 OG IPA?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not so different. Similar grain bill, some low crystal, just plain base malt. Would there have been more perceivable difference, you think?
I wonder, and that's next on the list for the mash temp.
More gravity would obviously mean you are basically measuring the resulting gravity.
Right. In my mind, I pair that with more specialty malts, more crystal malts.
Right.
Is that if you combine all of that and start messing with mash temp, is that going to make a difference? I mean, the truth is something happened.
It must.
Right.
Please tell me it does.
I know. Me too. Believe me.
Did you use Cal Ale? Or what did you use?
1056. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Either do I. This I'm telling you.
Well, you need. I wonder if access to like a gas chromatograph or something like that would be able to give you a little bit more data about what's happening in the beer. Maybe not.
It's all sensory.
Well, and one of the. This came up in the last. I'm just going to bring it up. This came up in the last couple of episodes. The whole boil length and boil vigor and all that shit. Yeah. And that's been that's one of the ones that really stuck with me. To me, it's always been your boil length. You have to boil for 60 or 90 if you're using pills. You have to mash at a specific temperature. You have to ferment well. You have to pitch a lot of yeast. Like those are the 4 pillars of making good beer.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So for the boil length one, I took the very first one I did was mostly 2-row. And we did 30 versus 60-minute boil.
Okay.
And I believe I sent that one off to Denny, and him and a buddy of his did that experiment, and they were that one came back not significant. So just a couple of months ago, I did one. The comments were you got to use Pilsner malt. You got to compare it with Pilsner malt because that's the big
worst
SMM
case.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, they have to drive all that crap off.
Right. And so I did a 90-minute versus 30-minute boil with a 98% Pilsner malt grist.
Okay.
Everything else was they were treated exactly the same otherwise, and had that one. I know.
Why not 100%? So you're gonna have to redo it again. The thing is that it's 100%.
Marshall's just trying to brew a lot. That's all he's doing.
I don't know why I didn't. I wish. I think I honestly am trying to get rid of my Carapill stash, so I just keep adding a little bit. Yeah. And 2%. I mean, it was like half a pound in 10-gallon batch, but. And so we had that one, and it came back completely not significant. I mean, I think it was almost smack dab on what chance would be. And so,
that's the case where you could have sent it to the lab to look for.
And so we did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. And so a really cool guy, contacted me. He works in I think it was a university lab, and he said, "Hey, I have the ability to run a DMS test on this, and and actually measure dimethyl sulfide in the beer. And if you can send me a couple samples, I'll run it for you." And so I did that. I sent them an unmarked White Labs vials, so they had numbers on them or whatever, and so he couldn't be biased in his measuring. He didn't know what it was, and you guys want to kind of venture a guess? What do you think?
Oh,
yeah, 90-minute versus 30-minute boil on a
pill. And on the sensory, there was no difference.
Sensory, there was no difference.
I'm going to guess that there was a difference in the 90, only because there's got to be a reason for it. I don't know. That's me.
I have a theory, but yeah, we'll get to that.
I have to smell the wort. At 30 minutes, if I put my hand over the kettle and let some moisture form, I can smell the corn. If it's not there, I can't smell it. I would say that there was a statistically measurable difference, but not a flavor threshold.
Sure. All right, Warren, what do you think?
I'd go that far too.
Okay,
with tasting.
Yeah.
So JP, you guys are all right. There was a difference, but not in DMS. It was the difference in color, and it was very, very slight. I think he didn't measure SRM, but side by side you could tell that the dark. The 90-minute batch came back with absolutely zero DMS, and the 30-minute batch came back with zero DMS.
So how do you? Wow.
Yeah. So here's my argument on that one. You have to understand. I used Weirmann Pilsner malt, highly modified. It was not floor malted, and my theory, and I'm sure it's been proposed by others out there, is that a lot of the processes that we've adopted as homebrewers are based on what we learned from people who were brewing hundreds of years ago, and for some reason we've just kind of stuck to it.
Like Charlie Bazian.
Yeah, like Charlie.
Well, I think Jamil's getting there too. Right?
Still got that.
No,
the malts weren't as modified.
They weren't
modified at all.
Yeah, and they're so
you
highly
had to boil
modified.
the shit out of that stuff.
That's right.
See, and this is great because I've seen either side of that argument happen online and even in the studio here, where highly modified malts matter. No, they don't. There is a difference. No, there's not. You're using highly modified malts. You don't have to do so much. You still have to do like step mashes and all that kind of shit. And it just there's nobody. People are just saying, well, in my experience. But what you're doing is actually going out and asking other people, and essentially what is a real world situation.
Yeah, that's the point. Is to me, like I have a personal preference, which is I'm more curious whether the masses can taste a difference. But I understand there are folks out there who want to see numbers. They want to see if there's actually a difference. And so we've recently partnered with a cool lab out of Oregon who's going to start running. Wow. Who's going to start running some actually lab tests for us on stuff like this. So, for example, we just sent one in. I can't say it because he's listening right now, but we just sent one in where we're going to have IBU measured. I'll just put it that way. And it's on a variable that you'd expect, or conventionally we've accepted that bitterness is impacted by this specific variable.
Okay.
And so to be able to kind of company the sensory analysis with hard data, I think is really interesting. Even if they contradict, that makes it even more interesting to me. I'm not trying to prove anything. I just think it's fun to look at.
You're insane.
That's what I like about his experience. he keeps a lot of notes, tons of detail, documents it all, and just says, "Here it is."
Yeah,
he doesn't claim to be like,
"There's no judgment." Or
so
anything,
once I did these with this 20 people, then that's what it's going to be every single time. No. He doesn't make those statements.
Yeah,
at
when's
all.
your book coming out?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Marshall's Guide to Brewing Properly.
That's not good.
I'd be willing to say that my 2 cents, which is worth less than 2 cents, but is that some of these things are kind of redundancies built in because the malt's going to change. There could be more precursors depending on the sack of malt that you're using for DMS. And then the time, it's better to err on the long side. Yeah. Because you'll drive off if there's an extra amount. And also everyone's boil vigor is going to be different too. Like some people are like, okay, I can see little tiny bubbles rolling, so that's going to be my boil versus someone that's really just having it chug and just be super active. And that's going to drive off things faster or slower. And so it's better to just tell people, just boil for 90 minutes. And you'll get DMS-free beer.
Yeah, and it's to me, I like in my mind, I think of it as the just-in-case factor or the insurance factor. And it's really, I still, for the most part, I still boil for 60 minutes. But I'll admit, that's partially because the variables I'm testing usually kind of require that, and it gives me a little bit more time to do shit. I've done a few experiments where on both batches I've reduced it to 30-minute boils with Pilsner malt and 2 row grist, and I can't tell a difference. I can't tell a difference.
Then there's also like some situations where I want to have I want to do a 60-minute boil so I can have a 60-minute hop.
Exactly.
And drive all that aroma. I want it to be like a neutral hop.
Exactly.
Like drive all that out.
Yeah.
Over 60 minutes, I wouldn't be able to do that with 30.
Yeah.
Also, the caramelization, the color change.
Yeah.
Maybe I want that, or maybe there's some melanoidins that are going to be forming over 60. So it's the kind of thing. It's just good to know that you can do it if you need to.
Absolutely.
And even people say that the rate of cooling affects DMS because some people say that you'll never drive off all the precursors, the SMS or whatever.
SMM.
SMM, yeah. You'll never drive all of that off. And so you need to cool it quickly because the heat's going to continuously be converting that.
I think on a commercial scale, that's a huge issue. And
right, exactly.
I have to believe
warmer longer. Yeah.
But I mean, on the homebrew scale, there are people who are, and we've done a no-chill experiment. We've done a couple focused on no-chill. I've had no-chill beers where somebody has served one to me, and it's a great example of a pale ale that I'm not picking anything up on, and they let this thing chill in a cube over 24 hours in their garage.
I would never do that. I would think that'd be the worst thing you could ever do.
But if I publish a no-chill article, it blows up because I don't know if people are just afraid to talk about the fact they're doing it, but they're making great beer doing it.
Yeah,
it's the same with 10 years ago or 5 years ago brewing a bag. If you did that, boy, you were. But people are winning NHC with brewing a bag beers now, and. I just think there's something different on the homebrew scale than there is on the commercial scale.
Well, one question I'll pose to all those you have to chill fast believers: what about all the Belgian beers that are cooled in cool ships that are done primarily with Pilsner malt? There should be a ton of DMS in that, and they're just letting it sit.
Well, those beers are getting infected, right?
Purposefully.
Do the bugs then break down
bugs
the
love
DMS?
DMS. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
They'll eat it.
Question answered.
Yeah.
You might have to add some DMS.
Let's take a break, Marshall, because we've been talking for a lot longer than I anticipated. I apologize. It's fascinating. I'm really, really interested. When we come back, we want to talk about some fermentation stuff that you've done, and then we'll do a couple triangle tests.
Sounds awesome.
What do you think, right? Man, good stuff. Do you ever get tired of testing shit?
You know what I get tired of is not being the tested one. I want to fucking test. I want to be tested. I want to try that out.
Well, maybe someday someone will take pity on you. It's The Session. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states, plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. Do you like to mash using efficient fly sparging, but would like an easy way to heat your strike and sparge water? Enter the new Brewer's Edge electric mash water heater, a plug-in, anywhere, precisely controlled heater for strike and sparge water. Ditch the fumes and second burner and make mashing easy. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy the Williams way.
Are you looking for a simple brewing system that's great for all grain brewing, but everything on the market seems to be full of compromises? Blickman Engineering has the answer. The Blickman Brew Easy All Grain Brewing System. The Brew Easy is a complete system with easy upgrades and a beautiful compact design, perfect for any size brewing location. At its core, the Brew Easy is built on 2 gorgeous Blickman Boilermaker brew kettles, a high-temperature March pump, and either a top-tier gas burner or the new Boil Coil electric heater. The Brew Easy adapter lid allows the pots to stack on top of each other, forming an efficient, strong, and compact brewing setup that comes in 5, 10, and 20-gallon batch sizes. Upgrade your Brew Easy system with full automated control by adding a Blickman Tower of Power temp controller, and make moving around easy with the Blickman Kettle Cart. The Brew Easy is modular. If you already own a Boilermaker kettle, you can build your Brew Easy by purchasing just the modules you need. The new Brew Easy all-grain brewing system. See it today at BlickmanEngineering.com and brew with Blickman quality on your new Brew Easy.
You're tuned into this session because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, thanks for sticking with us, everybody. We're about to taste some beer in here, man. But first, we're going to talk more experiments. And this one's going to be about fermentation, which I'm pretty excited about. I feel like I say that a lot.
Does fermentation matter?
Does it really matter?
Do we
Drink
have
sweet
to do
wort.
it?
It doesn't.
Why?
It doesn't matter. That's the thing. You just take the sweet wort. Tasty does this. Take the sweet wort and then pour some nitrate in it, and there you go. And that's fine. That's a triple IPA, right?
That brew is ready the next day.
The very next day.
Yeah.
All right, Marshall. Let's talk. Marshall's talking to Bev right now.
That's good. I got you.
Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, so fermentation. So not only do you do mash stuff and boil shit and all that kind of other fun stuff, but you did a few rounds with fermentation. Now, this is the one that you brought on Dr. Homebrew.
Yes.
What did you do? Here, I'll give you your paper back because I'm stealing your paper all the time.
I need notes, yeah.
Let me ask you a question with holding all your information.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of on fermentation, or do you just kind of throw, have a bunch of ideas and you throw a dart at it and you go, I'll just do that one?
The group of us who are doing these things together kind of shoot the shit about them before we settle on an experiment and help each other design the experiment. And there are often times where I might have one idea and they'll say, well, if you do this or if you make this little tweak, it'll make it more valid. And so that's one of the good things about having a group of guys. So fermentation temperature,
which is a highly debated topic, I think it's very focused on. Well, not debated,
it's
but
focused on.
Right, it's focused on. Yeah, because people again, if someone came to me and said I had a beer that was fermented at 77 degrees, I would say it's probably going to be super fruity, estery, and probably not all that great.
Yeah, phenolic, jet fuel, whatever. Yeah.
All that shit. Yeah,
and I completely buy that. And again, like Warren was saying earlier, I do think, regardless of what the results of the stuff we're going to talk about today are, I think fermentation temperature is one of those things that if you control it, you are assuring yourself that at least that's not going to be a component of your shitty beer. So you can cut that out of the issue. And so, but we've done fermentation temperature is my hands down favorite thing to play with because. It's something I found so interesting after the Dr. Homebrew show, which was our first one. We did a Schwartz beer fermented with WLP 029 at 58 compared to 72.
Wow.
And it came back non-significant. Sample size 23 people, so there are going to be people who say that's not enough, but to me, 23 homebrewers is kind of
23 homebrewers, and there was not enough a significant amount of them to say for sure that made a difference.
That's right.
See, I'm learning. I'm getting smart right now.
Yeah, it's all about wording.
right.
So
we'll ask you again in 5 minutes if you remember.
I won't remember.
Yeah. So the required correct was 12, and 9 people got it correct. 9 out of 23, it's not very far off from exactly a third.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, again, the arguments against that one were that it was a Schwartz beer, which is slightly roasty, and that it was fermented with a very a notably clean hybrid strain, which is WLP 029. And it's true. It's a very clean. People will not. You can't call a Pilsner made with.
It's
029.
a hybrid yeast. It's made so that it does well at warm temperatures.
Right.
It's not made where it doesn't do well at cold temperatures.
It bridges the gap.
It seems to be a yeast that would be ideal for minimizing the variance in fermentation temperature. Whereas if you use for instance, maybe extreme would be like a Belgian yeast that's very sensitive to temperature. It'll throw out bananas at one end and clove at the other. Then that would be, I think, that'd be more noticeable. But maybe something in between, like just California ale yeast.
Well, what we did after following the complaints of the many who voiced the concern about that one. Yeah, which I loved it. Feed me because I'll do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
We decided the two most common requests were do it with an English strain because those are known for producing British esters, or do it with a Belgian strain. And so I put out a survey, and I surveyed, I think it was like 1,200 people responded to the survey.
Okay.
And the one that just barely nudged out was 002, the Fuller strain.
Okay.
So 1968 from my yeast, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did is I made a mild. I'm thinking, the lower the OG, the more character you're going to be able to experience. There's people who are going to say that the higher the OG, the stronger the character will be. We'll get to that later. But and so we did that one. I compared 66 versus 76.
Which are those? Oh, that's the temperature. Sorry, I thought you were giving numbers.
Those are the degrees.
It's like okay,
those are
76 people tested.
All right.
And that's Fahrenheit. So that's something like. Celsius would be. It's probably. I don't even
worry about it. Celsius doesn't even
less than that.
Doesn't even really exist. To be honest,
come to our side.
Yeah.
So the sample size on that one was 22, so about the same as the first one. the required correct was 11, and the actual correct on that one with 002 was actually 12. So it was statistically significant with a p-value of 0.017.
As I said on Dr. Homebrew, if you used the right yeast, you would have gotten a good result.
All of a sudden, Warren remembers.
Selective memory.
Yeah. I love how that happens.
When it's wrong, he didn't even.
Yeah. Oh, what? I don't remember that.
I remember being there.
Yeah, selective hindsight.
He's learning. Hindsight. That's a low blow, Tasty.
Oh, yeah. Really
no sight.
Yeah. Thanks, Bev.
Thank you, Bev. You did a great job on this.
You are doing a great job.
I got one of each color.
Beer.
So beer in 2 cups is real challenging.
Apparently it is.
Welcome to my life.
Spilled a drop.
And you got us each a different color.
That's my doing, by the way.
Yeah, I tend to credit.
So the final one, the last experiment that we did on fermentation temperature, I kind of hit these ones out all in a row because I was so fascinated by the results.
Okay.
Is I made a Bohemian Pilsner using WLP 800. The idea being Pilsner is known for you have to ferment it cool. And so I compared 50 degrees, which is a pretty commonly accepted, fermentation temperature for traditional lager strains.
Sure, that's right there.
Yep, right there. I fermented it, compared that to a 66-degree fermentation with 800, which is the Bohemian lager yeast.
Okay. That's way too warm, right?
That's way too warm.
66?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to put some
be estery.
a little fruity.
Yeah.
Fruitier, right, Tasty?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
We collected data on this one at NHC last year, NHC 2015.
Oh, I'm sure everyone was nerding out over that.
Oh, they were just nerding out.
In my opinion, this is I can't even do drunk nerd.
I just get diacetyl. Diacetyl?
It's pronounced diacetyl, and the etymology is thus the following. It was first used by Pliny the Elder in approximately 1945. Anyways.
Yeah. In order to achieve statistical significance,
we're just going to move on.
Yeah. The sample size of 39 people.
Okay. Wow.
We had to get, and we've got some guys now who
a lot of homeless in your area.
Yeah.
Well, this was NHC.
Yeah.
Oh,
San Diego, yeah.
Pretty much the same.
Everyone just looked homeless.
Homebrewers looking for free beer.
Yeah, free beer.
So the required correct would be 18.
Okay.
Which is actually less than half, less than 50%, which I think is pretty cool. And as you get higher, sometimes in these the statistics, as you get higher, you require actually a lower amount. Yeah. Anyways, I can go on.
Math.
No, you don't have to. It's fine.
I know. I realize that. So the actual correct, we required 18. The actual correct was 13.
Okay.
So 13 people out of 39 were capable of selecting the beer that was fermented cool out of the beers that were fermented warm, which means well over half selected a warm beer as the one that was fermented cool or the one that was different.
Wow.
So they were wrong on it. The p-value on that one was the highest of all of them. So that one got me because I love lager beer. And
if you want to grab Taylor some headphones, please?
People were able to guess which one was different, but not which one was warmer?
No, people were not able to select the one that was different.
Oh, okay.
Statistically,
yeah.
Very far from, actually. 13 out of 39. Almost exactly 1/3. So it's like random chance, yeah. Well, it is exactly 1/3.
So
I do's math.
And so the hesitation for me is just to be like, well, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't. To me, that means that fermentation temperature, within reason, because of course these are strain dependent. I think, like Tasty was saying, a Belgian yeast would probably throw a little bit more than the 800 whatever used. But I wouldn't worry about it so much. And is that the ultimate goal, or is it just you're just delivering information? Everyone can interpret it however they want.
Yeah. It's this drives my wife crazy. I have no response.
How do you
here's the data, do what you want with it. And
how do you not make that conclusion? How do you not conclusively say like this is the way to do it, you guys? It doesn't actually matter
because it's still 39 people out of 6.2 billion.
But it's 39 of the best palates on Earth, Warren.
Oh,
yeah, it's
the
NHC.
Random people at NHC? All right, you got me there.
No, if
I don't remember you asking me.
Yeah, I've pointed you. Yeah. But if Malcolm calls in, as he says he's going to, one of the things that as I edit these articles, one of the things that I'll do is I'll take out personal opinion. I come from kind of we're all biased, but you want to write in such a way that it doesn't look like your bias is coming through. And, so we can go and we can try to teach and we can try to tell people, but there's a million blogs out there that do that. My whole thing is, here's the data, make of it what you will. Do what you want with this data. We're presenting to you a P level of 0.05, which is commonly accepted as in the sensory analysis world as kind of the standard. But if you want to look at 0.10, then go for it. That's fine. We're not going to share that with you, but you can plug it in, we're going to share with you the P value. We might not say that it's significant at that level, but if you want to, go ahead. That's up to you. I don't want to. My goal isn't to change your mind. My goal isn't to make you brew any different. It's to kind of spark your interest and spark thinking. That's the fun thing about brewing to me, is that there's so much interesting stuff that's happening right now in the brewing world, for homebrewers in particular.
Name 5.
So
I'm just kidding.
Warren.
I'm kidding.
So you're saying the size of the P is significant?
Yeah.
That's what
capital
I get. That's what I get
Yeah.
from what you're saying.
Yeah. In other words,
what you do with it too.
In other words, we want the P. That's
right.
That's
it's how you use your P,
Kevin.
Warren. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So, there's so many competing thoughts right now.
Those are extraneous variables.
One is that it smells like pizza in here.
It does smell like pizza in here.
So, Tasty, would you do anything different now? Like, are you going to be super focused on your fermentation with similar yeast and similar things? Are you going to change the way that you brew?
I got to ferment it something, so I might as well just pick a theory.
It's true,
right?
Yeah.
The theory that it doesn't matter is a pretty good theory, but it's just easy. It's just easy to use the one where it does matter.
It's a theory.
I'm going to go with that one.
It's one theory. Yeah. I like it.
I mean, I can imagine where people aren't going to be, radically brewing differently. But for me, it would relieve some anxiety if your temp controller goes down for 2 hours or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be less preachy about temperature.
But then you wouldn't be tasty.
You fermented a lager at 66? Yeah. You idiot.
Well,
wait, I've got this data to back it up.
Here's what I want you to. Here's what I want you to try.
I've probably done it.
And I do preach this. I understand you got your apartment there and you don't have any way to do temperature control. But more importantly, if you could keep it constant. Now, have you tried up and downs? Something like what I would call stressing the yeast. Have you tried that?
Okay, so this is one I've been planning on doing. I've got a good friend, Dan, who has been encouraging me to do a temp fluctuation experiment because his argument, and it's a good argument, is that when you stress the yeast, like Tasty's saying, they're going to produce different chemicals, and that's what's going to ultimately impact the flavor. If you're treating your yeast, if you're treating your yeast well,
or your pee,
your little pee,
don't stress the pee.
Never stress the pee, girl.
Everyone's pee is different.
I want that to be a T-shirt. Don't stress the pee, girl.
I will make that T-shirt.
Brülosophy.com.
It's got to have the umlaut in the back.
It has to.
Yeah. So, he's been encouraging me to do that. My question to him was, how do you propose I design that experiment? Because it seems to be testing an extreme that's not real. So for example, just wait a minute.
The extreme is real.
Tasty panicked for a second.
For the first experiment that I brought in Dr. Homebrew with the Schwartz beer and the 029, my attempt was to mimic the first time homebrewer versus somebody who has a chamber, and so I just threw it in a fermentation
chamber.
So the cool temperature controlled chamber. Okay. There's a freezer with a thing on it. Right. I threw the 50 degree in that, and I threw the other one in a shower in my house.
Okay.
In my house, the heater's just set to 67 or whatever it is, and so you'd expect it to fluctuate, and it did. It went from 65 up to 72, but it doesn't. That mass of liquid,
one time or up and down,
but it doesn't go up and down. That's what I'm trying to say. Is realistically, it doesn't drop fast enough for it to
affect the actual output of any junk, right?
The junk, yeah.
The throwing the junk out,
right?
It's a gradual change.
It's so gradual that it catches up with itself, and so you're really looking at like a 2-degree change. Yeah. Because over 24 hours, what I found in my observations is that you can expect 2 to 3 degree change if you don't fuck with the temperature. And so in my mind, I'm thinking unless I would have to, in the middle of summer when it's 110 degrees in Fresno, take the thing out of the chamber every 12 hours and set it in a really hot environment to warm up from 50, put it back in 12 hours later, and do that, 3 or 4 times to really stress that yeast out.
Or you get like at More Beer, they sell a firm wrap.
I don't buy
but that would be a good way too, because then you can just switch it,
right?
Flip it on, right?
Well, the other way I can do it is I have two separate chambers, and I could just set one. I could program one to change the temp. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But your main point is well taken. That's not a realistic situation.
That's right.
Whose apartment is like 95 during the day and 85 at night.
Or 55 at night.
Well, some are.
Exactly.
55.
Exactly.
And even then,
if you're putting it in a garage.
Because of the mass.
If you keep it in the garage, you're going to experience more fluctuation, but I don't think it's more than
it won't
like
be
6
that drastic.
Yeah,
there's no way in hell it'll ever be that drastic.
I think the liquid temperature could change 5 degrees in a garage if you're having like 30-degree temperature differentials.
What we have here
over a 24-hour swing. I think you could get close to 5-degree difference.
I tell people that if they're in that situation, is to put the whole thing in a mass of water, like a tub of water,
because that'll help
buffer it.
Ease the ease the transition.
And if it's hot, I said throw some water bottles in there, but just to keep the delta down, so it doesn't quite get so hot.
Yeah.
I think it's valuable to test it though.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No,
I'm curious too.
I'm going to be less preachy about up and down the temperatures too.
And I don't know if I'm definitely less preachy about temperature control, but I'm not more preachy about don't worry about it. I still ferment at very precise temperatures, and I still attach the probe to the side of my carboy. People think
something to do, right?
It makes it feel legit. Yeah.
You can not care, or you can care.
Well, I think it's also maybe plays to our egos a little bit as homebrewers.
I think we feel like we're artists.
Because we have total control over everything, but I think in reality we don't have as much as we actually think we do.
It doesn't matter.
It's just another metric to keep consistent batch to batch.
Yeah.
To ensure repeatability.
100% agree. And that's my perspective on it. Is that and that's another thing that a lot of people will point out is as we start. I want to knock out single variables first, and then we'll start stacking. But as we start to stack, to what extent does combining these poor practice variables? At what point does it? I did a 15-minute mash, 15-minute boil, 100% Pilsner malt, 2-year-old Amarillo, 2-year-old yeast experiment, and the beer came out totally fine.
Fine as in...
It was good. It was good. We drank it all in one day. It was good. I'm surprised it came out as good as it did. And
I don't know.
2-year-old yeast. You had like a 2-year-old smack pack or vial.
It was 2-year-old dry yeast. 1 year from the expiration date, and I believe they're 1 year expiration.
Is it something you thought about a year in advance, or you just opened the door? You're like, oh fuck, I got all this crap.
My wife left without. She was like, hey, I got to go run some errands, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'll see if I can finish before she gets home. Yeah, and I did. It was only a 2-gallon batch, but
and it was fine.
It was good, actually. Yeah,
not just fine, good.
Good.
I mean, my standards are low, but yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
If we learn anything from these experiments,
right,
that's the takeaway.
I just find it hard to believe. I don't know why. I think because it's hard to change your thinking. I mean, I've been homebrewing since 1998. And I've been teaching people to brew probably since 2000. It's hard to change your perspective on shit.
Yeah. That's why I don't teach. That's why I don't do the teaching part of it. I just present the data and walk away.
I'm also blown away that women vote, to be honest with you. I can't even imagine.
I mean, it's almost been 100 years and still I don't get it.
It's tough because if you're taught a certain way of superiority...
Well, you know what's weird is that they're voting right now.
I will stab you.
They're voting right now somewhere.
I will literally stab you with a pen and then click it.
You know what's weird?
They're
voting right now.
The ink injection? What is the point of clicking it?
I think it's the pee injection.
To make it hurt a little more.
Oh.
No, about 1/8 of a millimeter.
You'll feel that in your deep tissue.
You have an experiment in front of us.
Yeah, well, you have it in front of you, yeah.
You have it in front of us.
linguistically speaking.
Whatever. Fucking smart people. Next time we're booking a dumb person.
In front of them?
Yeah. They have it in front of them, as do I. What are we doing here? What's the point of this? Let's talk us through this beer drinking bullshit.
Yeah. Well, this is a beer that I designed specifically for this experiment, and as you taste these, you'll realize that well, maybe you'll realize.
At least a third of us will realize.
The average you.
And not statistically significant enough.
Not me.
But I tend to brew beers that I hope will kind of exemplify the issue or the variable that we're testing. So they're not very exciting. Usually they're kind of boring. But to me, that's kind of the point. I want people to be able to taste it. So I haven't tasted these since I bottled them, but I don't think they're infected or anything. But that's kind of all I want to tell you until you get done tasting them. Yeah.
So we just need to figure out which is different.
That's it.
Okay.
One's different, two are the same. Yeah.
One is different, two are the same. So we have 3 glasses, a blue, a red, and a green. I'm a little disappointed you couldn't find a white one and be a little more patriotic about this world we live in and the country that's the best country in the world.
Yeah.
Do I need to play Merle Haggard, You're on the Fighting Side of Me again? Because
I will sing it with you.
I will fucking do it.
Don't test me.
Yeah.
I love playing that song, especially in the bar, especially during an election year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like people are going, oh my God, what is that?
Yeah. While you guys are tasting, I'll tell you a little bit about the recipe because I'll tell you now it's not involved in this.
Please do.
So this is over on the East Coast lately. Some of the more prominent
cloudy IPAs.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Okay.
I'm 100%. That's where this stemmed from. JP.
It's a new style. They're not just cloudy IPAs.
We call them juicy here. They call them juicy there.
Zero
juicy or milkshake.
IPA.
Yeah. And so, there are the great guys out there who are brewing these, Mike Tonsmeyer and Ed Coffey and all those guys. And the yeast that they are swearing by is, I think it's 1018 or 1013. The Y yeast 1013, London Ale 3.
Oh.
Okay. And so I picked up a pack of that to do an extract versus all grain experiment.
Okay. All right.
And made that beer, and we did that experiment, and people could easily tell the difference between those ones. And so I had some leftover. I harvested some extra from a starter, and I made these beers with it. And so this is a British Golden, I think, is what it would go by in the new BJCP. Yeah, so it's like gold, and it's one. This one is a single hop. Real simple. I think it's 99% Maris Otter and 1013 or 1018, whatever that is. Yeah.
Okay, and part of the goal here, of course, is you're not telling us what's different.
No.
Okay.
Which we're not, and just a disclaimer, we're not going to use this data in the experiment. So,
well, then why am I doing it?
You're a tool.
That's true.
Well, then I won't give you an answer.
I understand, but why am I doing it?
Yeah.
Well, Warren, what do you think? Have you gone through all 3 of them yet?
Don't change your mind though. If you guys want to write it down, so you're.
I'm on my second pass through.
Okay. Taylor, you look like you're all done. Taylor, of course, you run the board for the Jamil shows, right? And you work at the Hop Grenade.
But he's also known as Porno Steve.
Porno Steve.
That is my alternate
Porno
title.
Steve runs the board for that show. I don't know about who this guy is.
That is. Yeah, I'm someone else. I'm not on that side right now.
That's right.
That's not me.
You can be Porno Steve now.
Good imitation on the voice, though.
Even looks similar.
Yeah. My next 10 feature films are coming out tomorrow. What do you think? Have you run through them all? Can you pick out the different ones? What do they smell like to you?
Malty.
Yeah?
That's about it. All I can get from it.
Which is probably the point, right? What are you looking for, Marshall? Pin? There you go.
Yeah, the test is if there's malt in this beer or not.
No, there is not.
There's no malt.
Yeah.
This one inspired me to really want to do a MO versus 2-row experiment because I get malty like crazy in this beer.
Yeah.
Something is just telling me that the green's different. I don't know.
The green is different.
That's what I'm saying.
Porno Steve says.
Porno Steve says green. Tasty, what do you think?
I say red.
Porno Tasty?
Red.
Right.
Porno Tasty.
Tinder Tasty.
Steve, how confident are you? Like,
God,
not
you are
very confident.
Not very?
You are a scientist.
It's not, isn't anything that's like, oh, I think that this particular thing is different about it. It's just a feeling that I have.
Okay, cool.
Would you say you're hooked on the feeling?
Good chaka.
Warren, are you done yet? No, you're not done yet. Warren will be done in like an hour.
I have a cold, and so I'm trying to
I think you said that on Dr. Homebrew as well. I know.
All right, well, I'll go. I'm going to say the blue is different.
Okay, JP.
I think the blue is different. I get the green smells a little funky, like a little vegetal kind of a deal. The red smells very similar as well. Those two have a creamier mouthfeel, the red and the green. The blue is a little more crisp. There's a little more bite going on, a little more hop thing happening.
Right.
And I think it's fermented lower, too.
Okay. Oh, you think it's a firm temp experiment? Okay.
Well, not temp, just gravity-wise. Like residually.
I got you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, see, I knew there was a word for it. You'd think I would know it by now.
I'll go with the blue also.
You would copy me.
I
because
was,
you know
I was
my
gonna,
track record.
I was going to go with the green,
That's what
but
I
then
did.
you said blue, so I said blue.
Copy somebody else.
That's why we don't. That's why we don't let people talk to each other. Usually.
Well, no, they would.
Yeah, this is fun.
Okay.
So, how confident are you, JP?
I'm 100% confident.
Yeah, okay.
I am. I'm 100% confident. I honestly think, based on mouthfeel, aroma, and flavor, that the blue is different.
Okay.
I'm 33.3% confident.
Piece of garbage.
Yeah. Well,
look at the poker player over here.
I like that. Tasty, you're kind of on the.
I'm not very confident at all. In fact, after listening to JP describe them, I think he's right. I think he's right. It is blue, but I'm sticking with red. I said red. So.
Yeah, but I'm still gonna. It doesn't matter because they're all the same exact beer, actually. And so that's,
are they?
Yes.
Psychology.
And so the reason,
That thought crossed my mind. I was like, he's going to be.
So this is only the second time I've ever done that.
Okay.
So the guy that wasn't really sure is the guy that got it right.
And the reason I wanted to do that here is because to kind of exemplify this idea, if you had done I had made a survey just for this one for you guys, and and so and on this one, when I do expectation bias, what I'll do is I'll include a question. No difference. They don't taste different in the triangle, which screws up the statistics for a triangle, right? Because it's 4 instead of 3.
But it's good to know.
But if people do that, then I can at least say this many people. So in the last one, I did like this over a year ago now. Only one person, I think it was 12 people altogether, only one person said they're not different. And everyone else was certain. And the reason I asked for confidence is because...
Can I ask how long they were in the bottle?
6 days at max, maybe 4 days.
These are it's the same beer,
same
from
keg.
the same batch, from the same. I don't believe you.
Yeah, expectation.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
It's psychology.
Yeah.
Completely. Well, it's because you set up the question of.
Here, get in that mic, Taylor. Ride that thing.
You told us. You're the one who told us one of these is different and two of them are the same. So we automatically go into it going, one of these has to be different.
Yeah.
So we take out the smallest thing possible.
Right.
And that's why I couldn't even pinpoint anything. I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a feeling. I couldn't analyze anything. I wasn't going to pick anything out.
Bullshit.
Since I am the resident dick here for Brülosophy, when I first smelt all of them, the blue one had a significant diacetyl aroma to it compared to the other two. And then since it is kind of drier and harsher, that's why I asked how long it was bottled, thinking that there might have been something in the bottle that was starting to work on that one.
I want to smell that.
Yeah, don't get these confused. So,
but I mean, now they've been
Bev's
sitting...
taken out the other one.
Yeah.
So,
this was right when they got opened.
I got a little bit in...
I got that in the blue one, and I didn't get the diacetyl as much in the red or green.
I get more of like a cherry cough syrup thing, but that's what I got in the other beer that I made with it as well. So it makes me wonder if it's just not a yeast. I won't be using that yeast very often, if ever again. But yeah,
I'm not saying it was.
I don't know,
but I'm just saying that's why I picked the blue one.
Yeah.
As an outlier,
because that's what you picked up
because
differently.
the diacetyl aroma was different.
Yeah, I got a diacetyl aroma in green. And then,
I got it in all of them.
And then heavy in the flavor in red.
I got it in all of them.
No, I got that
But
too.
it was strongest in blue. And then blue also had kind of the different little bit of harshness and just rough around the edges.
Do you think the color of the cup could affect the flavor?
Blue is my favorite color, so there's probably a bias.
Yeah. I'm trying to find any reason to cover my ass.
I threw the red out. I don't know what that means.
No, it's not. That wasn't intended to shame anybody. God,
no.
It's to point out we all do that when we have an expectation.
Sure, yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah.
I think maybe a solution to this whole expectation thing is, what if we had 3 cups like this, and these are all the same beers, or maybe they are different beers, but you try to match them to those same. Say we have white cups, but only like on the bottom you have like a mark or something.
Yeah.
Where You pretty much have to match them up.
Yeah,
in that sense, I think that would be a lot harder to fool, because it's one thing going, oh, this is all the same beer, but like he said, if you had something that he was tasting it's very possible that the slightest difference could have it off. But if it is coming out of the same bottle and you pour it right into the same cup and you try to match it, there's a very far less margin of error in that case.
Don't have to be.
But if it's all the same beer, you can't be wrong.
Yeah.
so then you could be just tasting arbitrary things.
Yeah. So I've had a version of the.
Say that into a mic. I dare you.
Shut up, Warren.
I've had a version of this done on me. I was at a friend's house for a kind of a beer meetup, and he comes out with a beer and serves it for me. And by the way, the diacetyl is what I've gotten both times with this yeast. I agree with you. And these are at 72 for 5 days, and I can't get rid of it. Yeah, so I agree with you on that. My friend Sean serves me this beer, and I don't know if it was side by side, if it was alone, and he's asking me about it, and I'm critiquing it, and I'm critiquing it as an objective observer. I'm this guy who's he's made this beer and he wants me to give him honest feedback, and it was a beer that I had made like 6 months ahead of time, and I'd given him a bottle of it that I'd bottled off, and he just never opened it and found it and served it to me, and to me that was kind of a different version of it, but it exemplified that the expectation that this isn't something I made, so I'm not biased to really love this beer. And I'm able to kind of view it from a different perspective, and so I liked it. I wanted to do that because I thought it'd be fun. to fuck with you guys.
Was it fun for you?
It was fun for me. I felt bad actually, but I promise you on this next one they're not.
Well, at least we're all right.
If you do it again,
I just tasting through them again, I would not change my answer, which is the fucked up part.
You sound a lot like a good friend of mine, Tommy, from the guy who runs the House of Pendragon Brewing Company. When he did
equally as wrong as you.
He did the same thing. He drank all of these beers and he comes to me and he's like, I know for a fact it was the green one, and I told him, dude, they were all the same. And he's like, there's no way you accidentally poured from the wrong keg. Yeah, and I said, no, they all came from the same growler. I brought extra growlers just to make it look like I was pouring. They were the same beer. Yeah. So it's amazing what expectation, when you expect something, and that goes far beyond beer, of course, but when you expect something, you kind of, it's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh, what, you're going to teach us about life now?
Mine is very strong.
I don't teach shit, but I'll talk to you about it.
Right. Yeah, you'll just tell me facts.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's switch to the second cup then.
Okay. She's never as good as lay as you think she's going to be.
Oh, God.
That's why?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Expectation.
It's all
expectations.
That's what I keep telling Taryn. I was like, don't worry, I will be faithful, Taryn. It's fine.
And I apologize.
And she expects that.
Which will bite her in the ass, I guess. All right, so we're running. So these again.
There are a lot of
two are the same and one is different.
Maybe
RGB.
Yeah, if you guys were to do this survey, it'd look a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah, traditionally, this is a traditional.
Yeah,
experiment.
you've modified this for the show.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So
two are the same and one are different. Well, I'll tell you what, these are much colder, and I appreciate that.
I did that on purpose. This is a.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is a Hellas export beer, according to the new BJCP. 1059 starting gravity.
What do you think of the new BJCP guy then?
I don't care. Yeah.
Okay. I forgot. You have no opinion. You're a robot. You're Johnny Five. Your goal is to collect data and distribute data.
If it's got a good p-value, he's in.
Yeah. No.
It's all about the P, isn't it?
I have opinions on shit that matters. That's my thing. I don't give a fuck what people call beer. I don't care. It's just beer judging.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was watching
in a positive way, though.
This documentary about sommeliers called Somm.
It's a good documentary. Yeah,
it's a fantastic documentary, and the whole time I'm watching it, it's these four dudes trying to become a master sommelier, and the whole time, Taryn and I are sitting there watching, it going, "It's fucking wine. What does it matter so much?" And they're staying up 8, 10, 12 hours. They take time off of work to do this thing, and it's like it's too much.
Too much. Yeah, I agree with you. I actually watched it. My brother-in-law's out here, and we watched it together. And there's that one dude who was just
dad
crazy.
Yeah.
Holy
well,
cow.
And so you were talking about being super confident in what you're tasting is correct.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that the proctor, for lack of a better term, is telling you that no, you're wrong. When he was going through the exercises at the one master's house, I forget the guy's name, the Asian dude.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's this. I think you got the wines mixed up. And the proctor's going, no, it's the exact wines.
Got it mixed up. No.
Yeah. And then he's going through the rest of the flight, but he's still going back to that one, going, no, can I have that again? I think you're still wrong.
Yeah.
And then the guy, Dad, leaves. This kid, they call Dad for some reason.
Yeah.
He's like, I still think they got it wrong. And then the proctor's like, I'm sure he still thinks that we got it wrong. Even right now, he's probably outside saying that I got it wrong when I didn't. And it's just, you can't, I don't know, when you're so focused on finding something and you're set on it, it's hard to change your mind.
Yeah. Praise the Lord.
It's good. It's a good documentary. I recommend it. There's definitely a lot of parallels to beer judging and all that kind of stuff.
Though, thankfully, I think beer judging takes a somewhat more lackadaisical approach. We take it seriously, but it's not that nutty. I mean, you can still have a good time while you're judging beer.
Right, you don't wear a sports coat.
You don't wear a sports coat, and there's not as much terroir as and these people in this documentary, to be a master sommelier, they want you to blind taste a wine and pick the region.
Oh, right.
New
From
world,
anywhere in the
old
world.
Rhone,
even down
Burgundy.
to the region of a specific country.
Yeah. Rhone Valley, such and such region, year.
And
2009.
please.
Yeah. So I guess in beer we don't necessarily have that. I wouldn't go, Canadian floor malt, 2-row, 2014 harvest. I don't think you can do that necessarily.
By a guy named Jose.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't think they do it either. I think they just make it up.
Yeah. They have to, and they have to know what they're being served. That's what I think.
And they get it, but they get it right.
They do get it right.
They watch the dude. Seriously,
odds.
I know, but watch the documentary.
Oh, I know.
And it's like New World versus Old World. So they have these guys tasting Chardonnays, and some are picking California Chardonnays from Russian River, and others are picking Chardonnays from France.
Yeah,
like New World, Old World kind of a thing. It's like,
and they're nailing it.
And they're nailing it.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I saw one where they were showing like the study groups and all their sessions leading up to the test.
Yeah. I think it's the same thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I saw it.
It's called Somm, because that's what we're talking about.
Maybe. I don't know.
Warren doesn't know.
I was drinking. I was drinking along with them, and so I don't remember much.
That's what we were doing. And then Taryn suddenly stopped. She's like, "I think I could totally do this." So we broke down. We broke down a wine together because it was a kind of a shitty wine, and not that I'm such a great taster, but she doesn't have that kind of vocabulary, and that's kind of what they were talking about. And it was a good exercise, and she learned a lot.
Guess where the wine was from?
Well, she looked at the bottle.
Well, no, yeah.
Be nice to my friend.
Grape juice.
Yeah.
Welch's.
Tubac.
China. Anyway, sorry
Trader Joe's.
Stop it.
Tasty. Let's get back to this beer, please. Help me out. Have you figured out the one that is different?
I have an opinion.
That's good.
Right. Which is what?
I believe
What's your P value?
I believe the P value of about 0.1. I believe it's the blue that's different.
Okay. Huh.
Taylor, what do you think? Porno Steve? It's the green?
Taylor says green.
Oh, this is going to get interesting.
One for each.
I will make it one for each because I think it's the red.
Red.
Well, shit.
Well, I haven't gone yet, so
I am.
The correct answer is.
I'm more sure. I'm 33 2/3.
Oh, you're more sure this
% sure.
You said red.
More.
Yeah.
God, this is very hard because each run through
0.6.
each run through there's something else that stands out. When I did it just before the whole wine conversation that we had, which is amazing, there was a hop character, like a bitterness that came through. Now it's alcohol.
Well, this one
5.9%
makes me rate. I have an important question for how you do the experiments when you separate the beers, like after brew or early on. And I don't know if I should ask it now. I mean, we all answered. So I guess my question is...
I haven't answered yet.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Then I'm going to wait until after you.
Okay, go ahead.
I will go ahead and wait.
If you want to write for Brülosophy, I like your style.
Just
Warren,
write? I won't brew for it, but I will write.
Yeah, on a commercial scale.
Yeah.
Warren, I think, would be good at it. He's very analytical. He knows numbers, and I know dick jokes.
I'll evaluate your P.
Apparently, he also knows dick jokes.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so I need to pick one. This is very tough. I'm going to say...
We each picked one different one, so you get to pick who
you're going to support one person.
You're going to support one person. I don't know.
God damn it. They taste different. They all taste different.
Who do you like most?
That's the real answer.
Yeah, that's Bevo's.
None of these are the same.
You're not a psychology person. You're more philosophy.
I tend to find far more interest and less disillusion in philosophy than I do psychology. So.
Which one was supposed to be different? Which one should be different?
Which one feels like it's different?
Two are seriously
Why
exactly
does
the
it
same.
feel like it's...
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's...
Why does it want to be different?
You know what? I'm going to say red. I can't.
Good choice.
Every time I taste something else comes out. Green, I just tasted nail polish. I'm going to say red. Confidence level.
Oh, you don't need to tell me.
Okay.
He doesn't care.
How do it matters when they're all the same?
Exactly. Yeah, that's
right.
one of the things I asked.
Go ahead. Burst our bubbles.
Well, no, I want to know what Warren was going to say first.
Oh, I wanted to ask...
Do you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, Bevo.
Sorry, Bevo wants to hurry up.
He doesn't know Warren very well.
I wanted to ask how you...
Warren. That was a terrible Justin impersonation.
That was pretty good.
How do you go about carbonating the beers?
Okay, that's a good question. So these were they're kegged at the same exact time. I have two exact setups. So I mean, literally seconds apart is how they're kegged. And I keg the exact amount. I fill them up to the exact. I use Pinlock kegs. They have a little rim on the inside that's 5 gallons. So I fill them right up to the 5 gallon mark. I do it all closed. It's a closed system, so it pushes the. I mean, it's not. I don't purge with CO2. I'm not. I've yet to experience any benefit from that. So, but they're closed, so it pushes the air out as the beer's filling the keg up. Once they're full, I take them to the kegerator and I hit them with about 40 pounds of PSI for 12 to 15 hours. Take the things off. Reduce purge it of most of the CO2 just until there's about 12 psi left, and then I hit them with 12 psi. And these were on for about 2 weeks before I bottle them.
Okay.
And
and they get the same time.
This is one of the carbonation levels were different. Yeah. This is one of those things with bottling and pouring. So when I serve, 90% of the data I collect is done in my garage off my faucets. So when I had to bring them here, and so I had to bottle them up. And when I was pouring them out there, I did a little carb test myself. I couldn't tell a difference, but those were different bottles. And the way they're poured could make a difference. The way they look in the glass is going to make a difference as well.
So it's Bev's fault.
It's what I'm trying to say, yeah.
No wonder she didn't want me to ask my question.
Yeah. She's like, stop, man.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You did great, Bev. Thanks.
Did anybody else notice the carbonation difference?
I'm not going to say that I did because I probably did, but I just didn't remember that I did. So, yeah sure, I totally did.
Okay, that sounds like something you would taste.
Yeah. Was there one?
No.
Oh, well, then no, I didn't.
That's not the experiment.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah, I wasn't assuming that was the experiment.
Right.
I was just saying that's why I
question.
picked out the red one.
Yeah.
I did pour them all
Or one of the reasons.
pretty much the same.
With the equal robusto?
Yeah, I had a system.
I trust you.
I poured them with the same sort of flare, and I counted to the same number.
Oh, flare. Wow. That's good. No,
It's on our lapel.
Yeah.
So does anybody have an idea what the experiment?
No, but not going to taste them again.
Who's the person that their opinion matters as to what the experiment is?
Nobody's.
Who's right and who's wrong? I will tell you this. That Warren and JP were right.
That's right. Of course we are, Warren.
Right, as usual.
Right.
So my question is this: it's just to have a little bit of fun with this. We have discussed one of these experiments this evening.
You piece of shit. I'm going to say it's a yeast.
Oh, it's
a
the
yeast
fermentation temperature experiment. No, tastes like that Pilsner you're talking about.
Oh, but this is a brand new one. I'll let you know that. It's brand new. Yeah, this is. I have not published the results of this one yet.
I would guess it's something with the yeast because two seem a little more dry, a little drier maybe than the different one.
Okay.
Or maybe vice versa.
I will say that is the conventional wisdom backing you, or you're backing up the conventional wisdom with that.
Okay. I like to think of myself. My favorite Muppet is Sam the Eagle.
Yeah.
Very conventional.
Conventionally wise.
So conventional, yeah.
Yeah.
And you said so one tastes drier?
Yeah.
Two tasted drier
two
than
taste
one.
drier than one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, honestly, I get the two that are similar.
Uh-huh.
Clean, ferment, dry, crisp. The one that's outlying has some diacetyl, maybe a bit more estery.
Okay.
And it's hard to say with the level of diacetyl whether it is actually like sweeter, like higher residual, or if it's just the diacetyl and the esters combining.
Yeah.
But that's what I would guess.
That's awesome. So the one, right? The different one is a they're both the same wort split at after boil, post boil. It's a Helles export beer, which is what used to be a Dortmunder export.
Okay.
So it's pushing 6.1% alcohol, I think. So it is a little bit. You said you picked up some sort of heat or something like that.
Yeah, you can like taste the alcohol.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
Right.
I felt that too. So which one did you guys prefer? That's the last question. These are the questions that are on the survey, and I'm curious.
The two that were the same.
Two that were the same?
Yeah, easily.
You're in the majority, by the way. Yeah.
As I should.
I'm tasting again because I don't remember.
But you're biased now.
Red.
What?
Yeah.
So you prefer the one that was fermented cooler because this is a firm temperature experiment, and that was fermented. This is the most popular, Weinstefaner 3470 WLP 800. Whatever the Yeast version is, it's the most popular strain. I heard an interview with Vinny from Russian River where he said that he likes to ferment. He likes to ferment a Cal Common with his first pitch of 3470, and then steal off of that and use the yeast cake from after fermenting that to ferment all of his pilsners and whatnot. So I thought, okay, I wonder what would happen if I just fermented a beer at 50 degrees versus one that's fermented at 70 with the same yeast. Rehydrated 2 packs for each batch, same expiration dates, all that stuff, and pitched one at 50. They were pitched at their fermentation temps, so 50 versus 70 degrees.
Right.
And so the red one, yes, the red one is the cool fermentation temperature. That was fermented at 2 weeks straight. I believe it was almost exactly 2 weeks, and then it was still even after, or maybe it was like 9 days or something like that. It was right at 50% attenuation. This is something Tasty and I have talked a lot about. It's quicker lager fermentations. It was right at about 50% attenuation, just over 50%. So I slowly started ramping it up. Brought it up to a diacetyl rest at 68, let it sit there for another week. Right next to the 70-degree fermentation beer, which was finished in about 4 days, 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
Just completely done. They finished at the same exact specific gravity. So to me, I taste a difference, but I'm biased. I cannot, in a triangle test, reliably distinguish the one that's different, though. I've tried multiple times, and I'm about as good as Chance. This one,
but that guy sucks. So.
Yeah.
Chance is a dick.
Yeah, I hate that guy. Lame name. And so this one, as far as I could tell, just based on my observations of the people who are taking it and what they tell me afterwards, I don't think this one's going to achieve significance. I'm not sure. You'll have to check back next week. Yeah, I really mean that. I don't have access to the data here right now. I don't have my computer out, but.
Could I just do the test 40 times? I bet I would get to the level of significance.
Yeah, you could, but that's the thing, is there are people who can, if one person...
Wait a minute, what about Dr. Homebrew?
What about it?
Best show on fucking the Brewing Network. That's what it is.
And Warren got it wrong.
There you struck out.
Yeah, exactly.
But now you have a cold, right?
Well, no, I'm saying specifically on this
test.
beer.
Yeah, and
I'm not saying for any test you give me, I'll pick it out. I'm saying on this test, you re-pour the Helles, I'll pick it out every time.
Bevo, you want to try? You want to pour? You pick the colors?
Oh, why are you going to call me out on my...
Drinking out of the bottle.
I know there's more in there, and she'd love to see you get it wrong.
There's more in there, but I don't remember what color is which bottle.
That's not going to work.
Atta girl.
Yeah. So then Warren would just be
just learning.
Warren would just be right by default.
I'll tell her which bottle.
Yeah, this is what it is. That's a really interesting experiment. So, 20-degree swing.
20-degree swing
may or may not statistically matter.
Not only a 20-degree swing, but a traditional lager strain fermented at 70 degrees.
70 degrees.
And that's the one you preferred. And that's the one most people who have gotten it right have preferred that.
What is that, 25 over what's considered high? 55 is considered high, right?
Yeah, it's 15.
15? I never look. You know, I may be really handsome and super tall and be really built and yoked and super fit and in shape.
You may.
I need you to stop.
You may be.
Great personality.
You may be.
But I'm not very good at math.
Yeah. So 15 degrees, 55 is usually considered kind of the max, yes.
Okay.
For I think.
For primary lagering, yeah.
Primary lagering, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've heard, I think Jamil, multiple people who have said pitch at 46, ferment at 48 to suppress esters.
Mm-hmm.
I've done, again, not published, but I've done so many of these where I've compared such low temps to warmer temps, and I personally am, again, I have a shitty palate, but I can't tell a difference.
What I will say is I don't like the method of lagering where you do a warm second half of fermentation, and I believe that you can taste the difference.
Yeah, we have so that's a good point, right? Is after about 10 days, 9 to 10 days, because I did ramp it up.
Yeah,
and so
and the ramp up and then the warm conditioning, I think, does create some flavors that aren't lager-like, whether it's diacetyl or increased esters, versus if you do a traditional old school lagering.
Totally possible. We haven't tested that out. I've been trying to work through how I can design an experiment to properly test that. And I think the only way to do it, it's going to add other variables, would be to brew a traditional lager batch, 2 months before I brew the other one.
Because of the timing.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got time.
You would, yeah.
And so, but I still think it'd be interesting to compare the two.
Right, to where they're ready at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that would be that's the variable is time at readiness. So time they're ready.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. I'm blown away.
I think
I like that you did this one, especially comparing it to a lager strain that was held at 70 the whole time.
Yeah. It never dropped lower.
Because I wouldn't have expected it to taste like this,
as clean
and this good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
Now,
it'd be interesting. I wonder if it'd be interesting for your dad to explain the test first, and then tell people, okay, now tell the difference. Now see if you can tell the difference, and then maybe do it. So like this test where we just did it with 2 beers, two. The first one, this is one I did with 20-degree difference.
Yeah.
And then this one I'm not going to tell you, and see if we can.
Well, in a way, he did that. He qualified you guys as
dicks.
The palate.
Oh yeah.
Because you got it right?
Yeah.
You know which one was different. You notice when he went on to tell you everything, he talked to you guys, not me, because I couldn't tell the difference.
Well,
wow.
You're saying he gave us
great because he picks up on clues, man. He picks up on these little visual. He reads people because he sits and stares at people in bars.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's a good point. And
stand next to them and smell them.
You use
because
Pantene, Color Boost.
Glossy lipstick. I always get the glossy lipstick.
Oh, leave-in conditioner.
Leave-in conditioner. You ran out, so you used a brand from
Herbal Essence.
Super 8. You stayed at a Super 8 recently.
So now I'm thinking, we done?
We're done.
My accelerated lager method. It's not for everybody. It's like the same sort of thing, like sensory-wise, inconclusive, right? Well, in the course, if the goal is, I want to make a lager in 2 weeks, not 5 weeks, then that's good that it's inconclusive.
Yeah.
So what kind of p-value does 50-50 satisfy? 2 out of 4? Is that statistically
that's
significant?
That's well, when it's that low, I don't have the calculator on me, but when your sample size is that low, I can tell you this. I'm almost certain we're at about 22 people on this one, and I think 5 have gotten it right, and that's very low.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that. 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 5 or something.
I'll add your guys' data because I think it was blind enough, and so we'll see. But I don't
I'm
think
definitely blind enough.
That is for sure. That's why I ask you to do these things.
Right.
Yeah. But There was a question you asked that I wanted to respond to, and I forgot what it was.
How big is your pee? I have no idea.
I don't want to respond.
Ask
to that.
a lot of really good questions that deserve feedback, but nobody gives them. So
I know what it was. I remember. So you were mentioning about sharing the nature of the experiment before.
Oh yeah.
And so we actually built into there was a lot of that when we first started doing the triangle test of people saying, well, beer tasters need to know what they're looking for so they can hone in on the problem, and then they'll be able to identify it. So what we did was on the survey is we had them do the totally blind triangle test, and then when that got done, we would go back and we would say, okay, the nature of the experiment is such, blah blah blah. Now go back and redo the triangle test, and feel free to change your mind. If knowing what you know about the variable, go ahead and change your mind. In easily over 100 participants in different regions, so not just Fresno. And
statistically anomalous, I'm sure.
Is that where most of the judges come from?
Come on,
maybe it's a regional thing.
Yeah, no, it's actually these days. It's not where most of them come from. We've got Redondo Beach, Corona. I will fucking tell you on this. And so we allowed people to go back and retake it, and in over 100 people, one person changed their mind. One person. And maybe that could be due. And by the way, they changed it from the right one to the wrong one.
Wow, second guessing.
And that's the problem, is that the idea is that if you're totally blind to it, you only are paying attention to what could possibly be wrong, and you don't have the bias to kind of focus on what might be wrong and then start looking for that. And that's kind of the beauty of at least a single blind test like this. But I can see where people are coming from. If I know that there's Mosaic in a beer and Nelson in a beer, I could probably pick it out. I think.
Yeah, you look for the kerosene, and that's it.
Capis.
I'm drinking kerosene.
Of course. God, why are you doing
I like it. I like kerosene.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Probably like the self-flagellation, too. Well, Marshall, we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
Dude, this was awesome.
Yes,
I really
thank you very
appreciate
much.
that. I
That
want
was
to have
fun.
you back in because this kind of dialed in homebrew talk we don't necessarily get all that often. You brew a lot. How much do you brew?
200 gallons a year exactly.
Of course
you do. Right.
Of course I do.
Yes.
Although with your wife, you could brew 400.
No, she's what makes it 200.
Yeah, it's 100 piece.
It's 100
Oh, it
piece.
is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was 200.
I thought it was 200
No,
apiece.
that's for family too. Yeah,
200 for families.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, then
Something you need to have a kid or two.
I only brewed 100 gallons a year then. For the record.
Whatever I
I think I brewed 4 gallons.
I was rounding.
With your Zymatic, right?
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to take a break, everybody. We come back. We got some beer news happening. Marshall, if you want to stay for the beer news, you're more than welcome. Tuner game, all that kind of stuff. We'll be back right after this. It's The Session.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
If you don't know Yeastman, you're missing out. White Labs Yeast Manager, Yeastman, is available free to any brewer. Yeastman is your direct link to White Lab's yeast production facility. Yes, you can check yeast availability, and yes, you can place an order, but Yeastman is much more. View yeast quality control and analytical reports. See your big QC day entries and reports. Get access to the entire White Labs catalog, specials on overruns of freshly made yeast, and customized options for your account. Yeastman is the only real-time online ordering in the business connected directly to factory production. Yeastman is always on and always live. It's the largest online marketplace for specialty brewers' yeast and related products. Visit yeastman.com today and tap directly into White Lab's production facility. Gonna brew? Yeastman to the rescue.
With over 20 years of experience making world-class craft beer and more than 100 gold medals in international competitions, Moylan's Brewing Company is not just a pretty face in craft beer. Just ask Brendan Moylan.
What do we got here? The beer of the hour. Moylan's, gotta love that big M. It's like a sign of awesomeness. Woo-hoo! It's got an extra kick to it. Let's pour this bad boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, Moylan's. The end of the night when the kids are finally in bed, the wife's in bed, nobody's bothering your ass anymore. That's Moylan's time. Moylan's is for you. Yeah. It's to help you out. Yeah. It helps me out.
What?
Well, because it's freaking awesome. Northern California brewed. It's brewed with love.
With love?
Oh, yeah. Tremendous. And it's always best where?
Moylan's.
You gotta try it. On tap at Moylan's in Novato. They're friggin' awesome. Not only because I own the brewery, because I love the beer.
Cheers!
Boom.
Kilt Lifter Scotch Ale takes big beers to a whole new level with rich malt balanced perfectly with delicate hops, and now comes in 4-pack tall boy cans so you can take the party on the go. Or come to the brewery, take a tour, and try any of Moylan's fresh creations right from the source. Check them out at moylans.com.
Your support of the Brewing Network means everything to us. We couldn't produce shows without you. And we love giving you something extra for that support. Like Brew Your Own magazine. You already know it's a great brewing magazine full of recipes, equipment how-tos, discussions of beer styles, and brewing techniques. Whether you're new to brewing and just starting out or you're an old pro, you'll always learn something from the articles in Brew Your Own. Plus, there are amazing special issues like plans for building a Brutus 10 system, 250 classic clone recipes, and the Homebrewer's Answer Book. Brew Your Own magazine and BYO.com are awesome resources for any brewer, whether for yourself or as a gift. When you subscribe or resubscribe from the Brewing Network homepage, you directly support programs like this. Get a great magazine and support the Brewing Network. Subscribe to Brew Your Own right from thebrewingnetwork.com.
A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its doors and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and the gadget guy Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California, and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zainasheff, and I want to tell you about Heretic Evil Twin. You might be familiar with my homebrew recipe, which uses massive late hopping to create a balance between the malty sweet and the hoppy bitter, along with an outrageous malt and hop character. I wanted a beer with the same bold hop and malt character, so we played around with the homebrew recipe until we were able to make a great commercial version too. We've created a beer rich in malt character, full of caramel, toast, biscuit, and an ever so subtle roast note. On top of that, we piled in an insane amount of Citra and Columbus hops at the end of the boil, as well as in dry hopping. This damn-the-cost approach to hopping gives Heretic's Evil Twin a great blast of citrus and tropical fruit that can't be matched by any other hop. The result is a bold, malty, hoppy, but easy-drinking beer. This is our top seller, our flagship beer, and I couldn't be prouder of it. Cheers.
To find Heretic beers near you, click on Find Some at hereticbrewing.com.
When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for every beer style. I want a Cicerone.
The Cicerone Certification Program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a Certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious. Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer, radio shouldn't
Hey, thanks for sticking with us, everyone. Before we... thank you, especially Warren. Apparently. Before we get going, I want to tell you about Great Fermentations. If you guys are looking for someone who knows about Blickman products, and it's separate from the actual folks at Blickman, check out Great Fermentations. These people have the largest catalog of Blickman products on the web. They have the same-day shipping on some of the main items, where a lot of vendors can take up to 3 weeks to ship you your supplies. And as everybody knows, when you get the bug to homebrew, man, you need to do it the day of or the next day or maybe a week, maybe. But I ain't trying to wait until 3 weeks, man. So the folks at Great Fermentations have their shipping down. They have top-notch customer service. They're the best trained in Blickman products. They're the best. Just go Great Fermentations. Check out all their Blickman stuff. Buy Blickman stuff from them because they know what they're doing with it, man. There you go.
And their Brain Eater Pale Ale is money.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you shop there?
Oh, yeah. They're a sponsor of ours. Yeah.
Oh, hey, ours too.
I know. Yeah.
Fucking weird, dude.
They're awesome. Yeah, great people. Great people.
John Schumann's in the studio.
For some reason.
Hi, guys.
Hi, friend.
I'm just hanging out.
John doesn't have any headphones, though. But
where's wife beater tonight?
I don't
have my man thong or nothing.
Came unprepared.
That's right.
You know what? This is, I think, what we should do. Do me a favor, John. In your best sexy voice, read that.
You can make this Valentine's Day one that you both never forget.
No, sexy.
Oh.
Yeah, sexy.
Nah, like, that was working for me.
Oh. Well, but sexy for women. Oh. Yeah, try again.
Hey, girl. You can make this Valentine's Day one you both never forget. This is an amazing offer from AdamandEve.com. Through Valentine's Day, you'll receive 50% off just about any item. Just go to AdamandEve.com and you'll find over 18,000 adult entertainment products, including toys, lingerie, and a seemingly endless selection of adult DVDs. And there's more. With every order you receive our romantic kit free. Our romance kit includes a toy for him, a special massager for her, and a little something we know you'll both enjoy, plus a free adult DVD to put you in the mood. And that's not all. Oh, hell no. We'll also throw in free shipping with your entire order. So check out AdamandEve.com today for this special Valentine's Day offer. Get 50% off one item, a free romance kit, and free shipping when you enter the code BNNARMY. BNARMY. That's BNARMY at AdamandEve.com.
I kind of want you to do it again.
Yeah, now with this.
Was it good?
That was pretty good.
It was good for me.
You did great, John.
Yeah. Thank you.
Nice work. Apparently, I found this thing on YouTube with the 70 funky style funk guitar backing track. And it gives you the chords. It's pretty cool.
All minor sevenths, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like great. Here we go. G, D, C, D, G. And it's amazing. Whatever. Anyway, good job, John.
Thank you.
At the break, we were chatting with Marshall about how terrible season 2 of Serial is. It's just the worst now.
How terrible is it?
I didn't say terrible.
I said terrible. I think it's terrible. It's boring.
I'll agree with that.
Who cares about Bergdahl? I just don't give a shit.
Making a Murderer is what made it up for me.
Yes.
Because that was so much better.
Did you like that?
Oh, it made me forget how bad Serial was.
Oh, my God.
Making a Murderer on Netflix.
Yeah. I know it's on Netflix.
Well, it's something you watch it. You don't listen. Well, I guess you could listen
but
to
it.
But
there's like 100,000 people who are listening to this that don't, maybe. So you got to tell those people.
I think with Making a Murderer, though, there was so much room for, questioning because of who paid to make the film. It was the defense who paid to make the film. So you got one side, isn't it?
It's slanted.
It's slanted, yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's sure it was slanted. I guess they were being sympathetic for sure, but I don't think that negates the fact that there was evidence that was not appropriate. There were actions taken by the law enforcement and the judges that weren't appropriate for the thing. I'm shocked that the guy was still in jail. That the court case just kept going through and through. I was pretty shocked. It was like one of the only documentaries I've actually gone, what? Like out loud. Like, I can't believe that this is happening.
I still can't believe his nephew is still in jail. Like, that's just
that's the one that kills me,
ridiculous.
yes.
Dude.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. But, look, I don't know what's going on. You people in the Midwest, man, with your sense of justice or whatever.
Don't lump the whole Midwest in with Wisconsin.
I might have
They're their
to,
own special
their breed
special thing.
of Midwest.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably right about that. Serial season 2. I can't say that I recommend it.
I believe the term you're looking for is I can't even.
I can't even. Yeah, I can't even do that.
Can't even what?
I don't know.
Can't even.
Ready for some beer news, though?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Did anything happen?
A few things happened, and we'll see what happens. As our favorite breweries continue to grow, Warren, the definition of what can be called, quote, craft beer keeps evolving. We all know that.
Okay.
Not Sierra Nevada, but
right.
Sam Adams keeps trying to, they
will
grow and they push
craft.
the level. Right. And as those changes continue, more and more of us craft beer drinkers are calling for the elimination of the word of craft altogether. It's just beer. At least I think that way.
Yeah.
Just as it seemed you might get some relief from micro definitions, there's a movement, apparently, in San Diego to stop using the word craft in favor of a much more exclusive and hipster term.
No. Yeah, I don't like this word.
Indie.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yes, Marshall,
worse.
your favorite small brewery would be called an indie brewery. If these failed librarians had their way.
I prefer alternative alt beer.
Alt beer. But then that's a style, so you can't really do that.
Well, do we need any other style?
I guess not.
Let's just do that.
Alter beer.
Yes. The reason is simple enough. Craft breweries are being sold to larger companies at a record pace, and using the term indie beer is a better way to determine who is who among the crowd of beer marketing on the store shelf. The term was coined by a beer podcast in San Diego and has caught on with other beer podcasts, apparently, and even...
Well, there's the problem.
They never catch on.
And even has its own hashtag.
See, we just haven't come up with a word yet.
That's the news here.
That's the news. So, what do you guys think? Do we really need a word to define who makes the beer we buy? Do you guys, in a sense, buy beer based on the ownership level of the company, or do you buy it because you like the beer? Do you care?
I have a name for the beer that I buy. It's the brewery that makes it.
Right.
I'm drinking a Ballast Point. Oh, I'm drinking a Firestone Walker.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking a craft beer.
No.
I mean, the only time that happens is when you're ordering beer on a TV show. I will have a craft beer, please.
I want your best craft.
Right.
Yeah. Because you have honed your craft.
Yes.
Tasty, what about you?
What about Tasty?
You travel around. Do people... when
you're a man of the people.
When you park it on a bench or a stool at a bar...
I'm sniffing the girl next to me.
Imagine what her hair would look like on the floor.
Smell like pizza.
Tasty's in a weird place today.
Sure enough.
It's the same place he's in every Monday.
No, it's probably
my
true.
one friend, she works at a restaurant. She always smells like grease. Whatever. Oh,
she always smells like pizza.
Fish tonight.
By restaurant, he means KFC.
Fish special.
Grease.
Can you smell things over the internet? I don't.
No, anyway, I talked to a lot of people that are just, they put up the big stop sign if the brewery's owned by like one of the major...
Like Lagunitas is owned by Heineken.
Yeah, Constellation Brands, right? Yeah. So I have no problem with Constellation Brands. I think Heineken's a beer worth having, and Corona and all that, and so is Ballast Point. Good job, way to go. Ballast Point, I'll get more Ballast Point. They'll make more. Price come down to $12.99 a six pack.
Yeah, normal levels. Yeah,
$13. Yeah,
14% reduction.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean I expect. Why would things change?
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too.
If it's the best beer on the board, I don't care if Goose Island makes it or the indie guy that makes the 3-barrel system up the street.
Do you hear people at these craft beer bars, of which we're sitting in one now? Do they talk about what's craft and what's not? And are people like choosing because one's not owned by a large brewery?
No, people are choosing because the beer's not owned.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
I think
servers aren't recommending them.
I think so
they're
too.
getting
Yeah.
shunned.
At this point, the people that want to call craft beer indie beer need to have a label. They can't just be drinking beer because that's what everyone else is doing. They need to have something special and be drinking something better than everybody else.
Shoelight agrees with you.
Right. I agree. I totally agree.
Well said.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I completely agree. No, they need to put a label on it. It's just like anything else. Like, what is this thing called? What is this thing called? Oh, it's different from everybody else, so I need to be different. So
it should be
let's make it
hipster
different.
approved, then you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Indie.
Forget about craft. Well, to me, craft defines like a set of styles, right? Like, I go to the grocery store and there's a bunch of what we call macro, but really they're styles that I don't like. So there's all these other beers which are not macro, and most of those, are what I call craft. They're like, different IPAs and pale ales and red ales, and sometimes they, intermixed rare Mexican lager and imperial stouts.
Well, we've done a couple experiments on the show, kind of like what you were doing, Marshall, like triangle tests and whatnot, to try to identify the craft beer from the macro beer. But in the past, it's been kind of hard because you're just talking about American light lagers, essentially. But maybe now that's not so. It's not so hard. Does it actually matter if Goose Island is owned by AB InBev? And does their IPA taste different than Heretics beer or whatever?
I think we're getting to the point where, for whatever reason, where we're at now is, when a macro brewing conglomerate, AB InBev or whatever, makes a quote unquote craft or indie beer, it's been pretty noticeably not crafty, if you will. And
like the American ale from Budweiser is the only one that really comes to mind for me.
Yeah, or Michelob had their Amberbach, which was pretty good, I thought. But where'd that go? I think what happens is when they try to step over into that country, people kind of start to avoid them.
Okay,
because or at least avoid that brand. That version, and it's because they've got the macro label. But I don't know. I'm kind of in the weird camp where I don't care as long as the beer's good. I'll drink it.
Yeah.
And I drink a shit ton of Banquet and Miller Lite, and I'm happy with that, and I don't care. And if one of those guys can make a good beer, not a craft beer or an indie beer, but a beer that's not
indie beer.
God, it's so pathetic.
It hurts, right?
It
Why
hurts.
are you saying that?
I was actually, yeah. I cringed inside saying it. But if they could make an IPA or something else like that, that's good. I'll drink it. I don't give a shit. Yeah,
I would too. Why don't they? Is a good question.
I know. I don't get it.
Huh?
Yeah.
They want a bunch of breweries that have people that can show them how.
I just think the popular thing right now, like the trendy thing, is to hate people who make money.
That's true.
And like you see it everywhere you go. If somebody jumps that line from being like struggling artist to making a shit ton of money, we got to hate them now.
That's why we love Shoe Light.
Yeah.
I'm staying at not making shit.
Oh, that's what you say.
Yeah. I'm still indie.
Keeping it raw. I don't know, I thought it was interesting. Indie beer. Can we just stop? Please just stop.
Vampire
Especially
Weekend
that.
plays while you're drinking.
I think they're maybe too big now.
Oh yeah, they're not.
Yeah, that's major beer.
This article I'm just going to read from because I'm really stupid, as the whole last of this part of the episode should tell you. And it involves numbers and things I don't understand. So here it goes. Kroger, one of the world's largest grocery chains, has proposed a plan that would let a private distributor oversee how much prominence brands get in stores. This is reported by the Wall Street Journal. What's more, the alcohol companies will be asked to pay for the services of the distributor. This is a big shift from the previous system in which the largest alcohol producers like AB InBev used their role as category captains, quote unquote, to dole out advice about how much shelf space to give various alcohol labels. The proposed change is particularly worrisome for some smaller labels since it could be more of a burden on them to find money to pay the distributor for placements in their stores. The new system would be also to implement a voluntarily quarterly fee for alcohol producers based partially on how much volume a store carries. So you could pay to get rated in this system or not, and supposedly that's not going to affect your placement, just to help them offset the cost of something that doesn't need to be done. I don't understand it.
So are you paying for good shelf placement?
I don't know.
Is that a convoluted way of saying that?
To even be in the game. It's,
I think that's the implication.
You're not on the shelf at all unless you pay that.
Right, but you pay the suggested fee.
Yeah.
Right. I think there are laws against that.
That's called pay to play. Pay to play, right?
I don't know, but I think through the wording it might be.
Yeah, they probably find a way around it.
They're legalese.
Some sort of loophole.
Right,
that's how I read it too. Yeah.
We'll do this study where if we sell your beer, we'll keep track of how much we sell. You just have to pay us to do that study.
Right.
Otherwise, we won't sell your beer.
Sounds like Big Pharma.
I don't buy beer at chain stores, so I don't even care at all.
You don't even give a shit?
I don't give a shit.
Where do you buy beer?
At the bars, in the drafts, in glass. I never see the container.
You don't go to Six Packs and
I have
all
beer
that
at home,
kind of
but I never drink it myself, so it's for guests.
Indie bottle shops.
I have like a bunch of homebrew I go up.
Warren's an asshole. So that's indie bottle. What is?
I think what's next is that we need to have like a big chain, if you will, or of like craft, shelves of cold beer.
Crap. What do you mean?
Well, like for good beer.
Okay. Oh, well, like Whole Foods kind of does that.
Sure, except it'd be just for beer and
just for beer.
Yeah.
I would like that.
Yeah, I'd go there.
Let's start a business.
Yeah, it's got to be a bunch of them though, so people could use. They got to be available. What's nice about the grocery stores, you can get
you can pretty much
some
get
milk,
them anyway.
some oysters, and a 12-pack.
Costco's convenient.
Costco is convenient. I have noticed lately going to Safeway that it's all the same. It's the same beer. It doesn't rotate out.
No,
it's the same shit.
There.
I don't buy beer at Safeway anymore unless it's Celebration.
At least in our area, they only change their shelves every 6 months.
Wow.
The layouts change every 6 months, and so that's why it's a big deal to get in. Because once you're in, you're guaranteed 6 months at least. And so...
If you sell,
if you pay the suggested fee,
and you have to sell in order to hopefully get a spot. Yeah.
The suggested fee. Hey guys, let me ask you a question. Are you getting enough? No. Are you guys ready for the next beer trend?
Is it double IPAs?
No, it's called farm to barrel.
Almanac.
So just like farm to table, but farm to barrel or farm to keg is another term.
So then you never get to drink it?
Apparently. Apparently it's all the rage in places like New York, where the concept is seeing some serious growth. Farm to barrel, or like I said, farm to keg, is the term for breweries that are located on farmland using the ingredients they produce to try and stand out in an otherwise overcrowded marketplace. In New York State alone, Warren, there are 106 breweries operating on active farmland, 43 of which opened in 2015.
So indie.
Super
That's
indie,
the new
right?
craft beer.
Indie,
yeah.
It's
Instead of craft, it's farm to barrel.
Farm to barrel indie beer. That's the new those are new terms that you're going to be seeing together.
Well,
why don't you just call it free range?
Cage free,
crazy free.
Yeah. Cruelty free,
humane.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a brewery called Licking Hole.
Oh.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. Licking Hole Creek. They should sponsor Shoelicious.
Yeah, they should. Yes, they should.
Licking Hole Creek founder Sean Thomas Pumphrey
holes, right? Not holes.
says his goal singular hole. So you choose. Dealer's choice.
Yeah, pick one.
You just get one.
Sean Thomas Pumphrey says his goal in opening a farm-based brewery was to break away from the pack. He says, quote, "It's getting harder to distinguish yourself as a brewer. Gone are the days when you can be a city's only brewery. But the farm aspect sets us apart from 99% of other breweries. Customers visiting our tap room can see our hops, touch it, and taste it. There's a terroir factor, apparently. A local flavor of the land. Our hops have a gentle, unique characteristic, and our pale ale doesn't taste like anything else I've ever had." Recent legislation in other states like Virginia and Maryland are opening the door for similar businesses to take shape. I think I also read that Virginia has like 9 working breweries on farms, and Maryland has like 4. For some reason, it's really taken off in New York, but I thought that was pretty interesting.
All right.
I mean, I guess it's cool,
if they're,
right?
If they're making all the hops they're using, then that's cool.
But I got to imagine...
if they're not, then it's just like country to table, not farm to table.
But I mean, I think
still farm to table.
It's still farm to... Well, sure, but they want to, I guess, get rid of farm to table because that term's kind of overused, and the table's, trying to differentiate food or whatever. But I got to wonder how many hops can you make, or how many hops can you grow to sustain your barrelage a year? At some point, you're going to outgrow the amount of land that you have, and you're going to be buying hops anyway. And then does it really matter?
You're presuming they don't have a big piece of land. I mean...
and I'm guessing if you're a brewery located on a farm, you're probably not like a 30-barrel brew house.
Oh yeah,
farm,
probably
brewery,
7 or whatever.
Because
small,
the infrastructure needed to handle that.
And I think
probably small.
I think it's just a gimmick, like he said he was looking for.
Yeah, just a
point
of differentiation.
Crowd? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's standing on the crowd this way.
Yeah,
John, what do you think?
I think it's pretty neat.
I can dig it.
The idea of it is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But realistically, if it's really happening, I mean,
nice, patchouli.
Who knows? It's there's a lot of
realistically, if it's really happening, who knows?
Who knows?
Thank
who
you
knows
for
if
not
it really
lying.
is? No, I'm being honest. But you know, the fact that they are growing all these hops and stuff and getting things done. I mean, that's pretty neat. You guys don't think so?
It's pretty neat. I think it's weird, and it ties in with the indie beer thing. I think it's weird when you have to over label shit.
Yes.
Can it just be? I'm a farmer who has a brewery. Yeah. Does it need to be a thing to a thing? Does it need to be a farm to a keg? Does it need to be indie beer? Can it just be beer, farm beer? Yeah. If you want to differentiate, I mean,
well, you don't. I agree with you on that. It doesn't even have to differentiate. Like, I mean, how many awesome beers has Tasty brewed in his backyard? As he called it, hey, it's backyard to bottle.
Backyard to
I mean, come on. like, no, it's beer.
The only thing unique about it is if people come out to the farm to do the tasting. That to me.
Yeah,
is the really unique.
That's the catch, right?
That's the catch.
Yeah, and that's what do you call that? Destination beer.
Well, it's like going out, going to visit wineries. It's
Well,
that's
like
super
Rogue
cool.
Farms,
which was awesome.
Yeah,
it's real farms. Right?
Super fun to go to.
They don't grow all their grapes, so they can these guys can get away with not growing all their hops.
Some of that shit.
They probably grow like 25% of the hops and buy the rest. Right?
They grow enough to just do a couple batches a year of hops and then of grain too.
Babe, we have a call.
Yeah. Sprinkle a few on there.
Beverly.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take it because Bev's not.
But they have a tasting room at the farm also, so you can go hang out amongst the hop fields and all that stuff.
Caller, you're on with the Brewing Network people teams.
Yeah. How you doing, Jip?
I'm good. Who's this?
This is the Stu from Burbank.
Stu from Burbank?
The Stu.
Yes, sir.
The Stu. Is this Stu in the Stew?
Yeah, that's me, man.
Bev, we had a phone call and I had to take it unscreened.
I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing.
You're done.
I'm trying to work on it. No, you're cutting in and out.
You're cutting. Mom's cutting in and out.
Me unscreened. Actually, I wasn't prepared.
All right, Stu. Well, what are you calling for, bro? What do you want to talk? You want to talk some indie farm to table beer or what?
Feelings?
No, I fucking hate that name. I think
what are your
that's the most
feelings,
ridiculous
though?
thing.
How do you really feel about it?
Oh, that's fucking stupid. that's just ridiculous. I think at best microbrew is good, or craft beer is okay too. I think it's all getting pretty good.
I think it's fine, but there's over 4,000 breweries in the country. Do we really need to differentiate? Can it just be beer? Why don't we just go by style? This is a fucking American light lager. Okay, great. I pretty much know what's going to happen. It's an IPA. Pretty much know that it's what it's going to be.
Just needs to be good or bad. That's it.
That's it.
Most of it's bad.
What are you calling for, Stu? Are you drunk of the week? Are you just lonely? What's going on? Your cats to get taken away?
No, I'm not. I'm not lonely. I'm actually interrupting my bachelor premiere night right now with my girlfriend to call you guys.
What's a bachelor premiere night?
Yeah, we're watching The Bachelor. It's airing right now.
It's the TV show.
Huh. I'm going to let him go. How do I let him go? Get out of here, Stu.
I think I need a new girlfriend.
Yeah. I'm just interrupting the Bachelor premiere night. The premiere night of The Bachelor.
We're interrupting?
No, he was interrupting the Bachelor premiere night to call us about
pause it.
Something.
Wow, that's dedication.
Is it though?
He's got it on DVR.
He's the kind of guy who would use the term indie beer. That's what it is. Anybody who would watch The Bachelor will use indie beer. As
he was fine with it.
I think we're down to something. What's the p-value on that there, Mark?
It's a very small p.
Small p.
It's a very tiny p.
Small p on The Bachelor.
Oh God, indie beer. God, leave it alone. Speaking of beers and shots, Schumann, which we were talking about, I'm sure, right?
Yep. Whiskey.
As these younger folks start getting into the craft beer and spirits game, there's a lot of distilleries opening up now. More and more bars are seeing a rise in quality beer being matched with quality spirits. The article is mainly fluff, this article I read about, but I thought there were some interesting pairings in here. Highland Park 12 year with a lager. For example, a really nice tequila or mezcal with a pilsner, or a rare bourbon with an IPA, American IPA. It doesn't have to be rare. I copied that. It's a stupid name. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. So you order a beer and a shot, which is usually what? Probably Jameson and Coors or something like
Jameson
that.
PBR.
Jameson PBR. That's your combo, right? But apparently there's more and more people. Going for the higher shelf on that kind of shit. On both ends.
Talking about higher shelf, and we got Lagunitas, the apple The apple beer they just came out. You guys tried that yet?
No.
It's like apple bottom or something like that.
Apple bottom jeans.
Boots with the fur. But we have what we call apple bombs. And it's basically, it's not quality whiskey by any means, but it's Fireball. And this apple Lagunitas beer. It's actually quite delicious.
Yeah, Fireball's shit.
It's horrible.
I love it.
Tastes like
cinnamon,
applesauce.
apple. Oh, I
yeah,
get it.
tastes like cinnamon applesauce. Pretty good.
Should I take him?
It's
Ben?
not bad. yeah.
Should I take him? All right, she has it. Okay. Apple beer. What the fuck? What is he talking about?
Look up Lagunitas apple.
Tasty. What is he talking about?
He's talking about a beer cocktail, basically.
Lagunitas apple beer.
How much? What's the recipe for this?
Graven's Time apple
how much
beer.
Johnny
Gravenstein.
What's that?
How much
Gravenstein.
apple? How much Fireball and how much?
It's
apple,
one shot to about like a half a pint.
Half a pint.
Yeah, it's basically like a Irish car bomb.
Yeah. That's racist.
Jaeger bomb, stuff like that. Same type of deal. We call it
Those
apple
mostly
bombs.
to chicks, you think, or?
Mostly to chicks, but it's one of those type of drinks that once hot girls are into it. Of course, everybody's into it.
Okay, so Graven's.
This is over at Spoon Tonic.
Oh yeah.
So this is a packaged beer from Lagunitas.
It's the one.
I want to watch the chicks drink it.
It's the one hitter series. Graven's Time. It says Graven's Time.
Okay.
Daytime ale with Gravenstein apples from Major Farming Company in Sonoma County. Sorry, the graphics.
Yeah, well,
are
it got
super
so big
small,
we put them in a keg. We're just like, all right, whatever.
Oh, you're doing it out of cans.
Really? You're kegging cocktail like a mix like that? Is that legal?
You just pour a half pint and just pour a shot of Fireball.
You can buy it as a beer.
Down the hatch.
See, now I got to come see
I was
bartend.
The other night I was thinking
texting
about
Jeremy Marshall right
it,
now. What the fuck they up to here?
putting a shot of Fireball in a glass of hard cider.
Yeah, no, that's still good. We started doing that first with Angry Orchard or whatever cider we had. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Well, I mean, I'm glad I thought of it.
Absolutely.
The other night, yeah.
It's Stu again, but he
Stu!
actually has a real question about. He wants
Do me a favor,
question
Stu.
about his next homebrew style.
Don't bring up you watching The Bachelor with your girlfriend, and we're going to be the connection will stay stable.
Yeah, all right, whatever, man. Don't be a dick. All right, so listen.
Yeah,
I'll be up front. So I do have a quick question. I found what you guys were talking about earlier. Obviously interesting, and I want to be lazy because you guys are a resource, and I love it, and I think you have awesome input. So let's cut to the chase. Next beer I'm going to brew is an IPA.
Yeah.
Which I know you fucking hate. I'm going to do it with a German Mandarinian hops. I forget what derivative that is, grown in Germany. Anyway, 6-1, half dozen the other. Everything I find online is about grapefruit rind or citrus rind. I want to put blood orange in it, and I can't seem to get a concise or cohesive answer on how to get that juice that I want basically out of that fruit in the beer the best way possible to preserve the flavor without increasing exponentially the risk for infection or something along those lines in the beer. I mean, that's really, if you talk about blood oranges, you want that color and stuff, and I get it, the zest has a lot of the oils and aromatics and things that you're after, but the juice is going to contribute, I imagine, color, sugars, as well as some of the flavor. I mean, you can't rule that out. So I was curious if anyone had any input or experiments or has tried putting straight up the actual meaty part of the fruit in the beer, and which guys would suggest.
That's a good question. Anybody?
Mandarin of Bavaria does have a lot of those flavors. So I don't know. I mean, depending on if you got to be a really big fan of that tannic rind flavor if you want to double down on that.
I saw a commercial beer that was made recently using blood orange extract.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which would, I think, give you the color you're looking for, but without that rind sort of character.
Right, but I don't know where I'd source that. And just to be clear, I do want to use that one hop in the dry hopping and late edition, but I'm also going to use stuff like Citra and Amarillo. I figured that would complement those really well and bring a relatively bright character to the beer instead of just focusing on a single note.
Yeah. If you're really concerned about contamination from the fruit, you could just juice it, and then you could get some sulfites and sulfite the juice, but then... And then there are lots of instructions on the internet about how to use that. But you basically just dose it, let it sit for a day. All the volatiles will go away, and then you can just add it, and you cut down on your chance of contamination drastically.
That was going to be my suggestion, Stu. Two in the stew. This is Marshall here, and the only thing is if you sulfite it, any residual sugars in that juice aren't going to ferment out. So you can use it sort of as a way of back sweetening it. At least that's my experience when I use sulfites. Is it kind of halts the? That
depends on the dosage rate.
Okay.
If he's adding it to beer that has yeast in it, depending on the dosage rate of the juice.
Killer burp, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't apologize.
Because brewer's yeast can handle a small amount.
Right.
And so depending on his concentration and if he lets it sit, it most likely will still ferment the sugars.
Yeah, so that might be the best bet.
Sulfites. So, that was, I knew about that from winemaking and back sweetening meads and stuff like that, but my concern was that it would kill any kind of, because I would want to add it still to primary. I don't put it in another container or secondary, that stuff. I just primary and then transfer to a keg. My concern was that it would kill any time left in that bucket to drop those final gravity points. I wasn't sure if sulfites would just completely stunt the yeast in there.
They won't if you're keeping on top of your ppm of the available sulfite.
So you're suggesting, though, and I hear what you're saying, sulfite just the juice, add that juice. Yeah. I don't think you're going to have an issue with that.
Yeah, add, and then based on the volume of juice, calculate how much sulfite you need to add. Let it do its thing for a day. And then at that point, most of it's already used up and isn't toxic to yeast anymore.
Yeah.
And then adding that to the beer, and then it'll be fine.
Okay. That's actually, that is the best answer I've heard so far, and I didn't even see that online, to be honest with you. I'm not going to have any pectin problems, do you think, am I? If I juice it, I'm not
but it doesn't matter,
Doesn't matter?
No, you might get a slight haze, but with that amount of juice, in my experience, when I've added juice, your beer is going to overwhelm it, and pectin haze, if you've already added your yeast, even pectic enzyme is not going to help you out. So
4 out of 20 people will be able to tell. So don't worry about it.
Pectic enzyme is most effective if you did it before you added it to the beer.
Yeah,
and because in the presence of alcohol, it becomes way less effective.
Exactly.
Pectin, that is, or pectinase.
Pectase, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even planning on playing with that. I was just, I figured if I added whole chunks of fruit, I'd be risking contamination, but I wouldn't get any haze from that, right?
No,
but if I juice it, there's a higher possibility, no? Or am I way off base here?
You'll get it no matter what. The intensity might change.
John, how do you get big pecs?
I blast them.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, me too.
With
an enzyme. You and Peyton Manning.
With lots of protein.
Stu, did we answer your question?
Yeah, actually, that was pretty. I really appreciate you guys taking the time for something as simple as that. I know that's kind of, I feel like it's a little bit generic, but I appreciate it.
Hey, that's all right, man. I hope your favorite bachelor wins, dude. I hope he finds love.
If it works, call us back. If it doesn't, then keep it to yourself.
Yeah, I'll send it in to Dr. Homebrew and make him try it.
Please do.
Do it. Yeah, that'd be cool.
These guys are handsome. All right, Stu, thanks,
I want to send you some beer. You guys have a good night. Thanks again.
All right, email me.
Bye.
All right, late. We got another call. Do we have another call, Bev? We do, but they're on hold. No, Bev's talking to her. All right. We good? All right. Just put them on hold. She doesn't care. Okay. We're about to do the Twitter game. Warren, what was our Twitter game? It was brought to you by, let me check my sheet again, of course. The Labruski Cruise. You can check out all the Labruski Cruise fun on thebrewingnetwork.com.
It was in honor of the 37th anniversary of homebrew legalization. If one of the Brewcasters was president of the U.S., what would they legalize?
Okay. Did we get anything good?
Well, I'll leave that up to you.
Okay.
I assembled a list for whatever that's worth. So it's been a while since I've been here, but do I read their name and their Twitter name? Or
no, you can just read it. Dealer's choice. Whatever you want to do, buddy. If you want to read their Twitter name, you're more than welcome to do that. If you want to read their actual Christian given name,
I don't think these are their Christian names either, but I'll just stick with whatever their name is.
Parents are weird these days.
Not their handle.
All right, go ahead.
Louis said, legal at 18, No, we can do better than that. Or we can do 2 years better than that.
Okay, all right. Louis is a creep.
Ian Hay.
I should probably write some of these down.
Says...
Ian
Hay. Seeing as how Tasty and Justining, he put Justin with a G at the end, won't be around much longer. Human cloning. The show must go on.
Okay.
Hashtag
Human
R.I.P. Tasty.
Oh, R.I.P. Tasty. Human cloning.
Sunshine Dye Dream.
Okay.
One word.
All right.
Anything baked by Tasty.
Make that legal? Okay.
Make it legal.
All right. Tasty bacon. Got it.
Sean Carney says, The Purge for shitty homebrewers.
Oh, that'd be great. Well, I'd probably die, so it wouldn't be so great.
Zachary Fritz says, Beardy would propose a bill for universal LASIK surgery.
Universal LASIK, okay.
And Phil Howard says, President Tasty's side boob access law is passed, but his free handles for all bill is ultimately defeated in the Senate.
Free handles?
Free handles.
What's that mean?
I don't know. It's in quotes.
Sounds like a beer thing to me.
Free, quote, handles?
You know, like beer handles?
Quote, free handles for all, end quote.
I don't know what that means. I'm assuming tap handles,
I get
but
the side boob thing. Is it in the same vein, or is it completely different?
Is that a penis joke?
Like love handles?
Unless he's talking about the side boob is the handle.
Oh, maybe.
I don't get that.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I thought maybe you would know.
Love handles?
Love handles.
Right.
Yeah. Got it.
Scott Burnside says Justin would legalize murder and kill the several thousand people above him on Bevo's list.
Okay, got it.
I like that.
Reginald says workplace harassment so Bevo doesn't become the proud owner of the VW bus.
Okay, I like that. The bus. I'll just call it the bus one.
Addison Babcock was kind of a dick because he said mandatory spell check before tweeting because even though I said hopefully I spelled everything right, I ended up not.
Okay.
Hopefully.
And so it is corrected, but he was like one of the first ones to respond and caught it.
Okay, Warren.
It's my first time.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
And honestly, if you want to know the whole story?
I don't really. Okay. Keep going. Keep going. What is this, an episode of Serial?
It'll get interesting, I swear.
Okay, good.
Cedar Valley Brewer says JP would legalize marrying cats, but then make beer over 5% illegal.
Yeah, I would.
Thus equalizing the universe.
Yeah, cats and death to IPAs, I'm going to call that.
Anything under 5.
Death IPA. Fuck, I hate IPAs.
So that's it.
Worst thing. Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Okay, well, before we vote, we got a phone call, I think. Caller, you're on whatever this is.
Whatever this is. Hey, JP.
Hey, what's going on? Blair with Drunk of the Week, right?
I'm pre-drunk of the weeking.
You're pre-drunk? Then why are we talking?
Well, because I'm about to flame out, and I figured if I was going to be totally bombed with this pot of boiling liquid, that might be stupid. But I have like 7 beers here lined up.
I'm sorry, hold on. Are you going to drink a pot of boiling liquid? Is that what you're threatening right now?
All right.
Well, I don't know. I mean, my wife's not here, so I can't wake her up to make her watch this whole thing. But I don't know.
Or to pee on her.
Watch me burn my esophagus out.
It's over.
You guys are out on metals anyway, though, so I don't know.
I think we are.
I mean, hell, why not?
Okay, so what are you doing? What's the pot of liquid thing? I don't understand. I'm a little concerned for your mental health right now.
So I'm brewing tonight.
Okay. All right. I get it. You're being coy. Okay. So how many beers have you had?
So I had like 3 12-ounce Imperial Pilsners, so those are like 7, 8 bills.
I don't even want to give the award to someone who would drink an Imperial Pilsner.
Well, I know, but I'm not watching
serious?
The fucking Bachelor. I mean,
all right, he's got that.
Well, that's true.
Somebody had to bring something. I mean, somebody beat me. I'm not necessarily saying I earned it. I'm just saying throwing down the gauntlet.
Okay.
Let's do something.
Look,
here.
man, you're totally right. Fair enough. I'm sorry. Keep going. My bad.
That's all I got. So I got, I don't know, I got 5 gallons of Bach over here, and I've got a whole bunch lined up. I figure I'll pound 6 of those before I go to bed, get this thing chilled, and then I'll get up at 5:30 and take 3 kids to school. So if somebody can beat that, bring it.
Sure, I can beat it in theory because you haven't done it yet.
Right.
Well, this is true.
I'm going to go home and drink a 12-pack.
I'll tell you what. I'll call the thing later, and I'll leave you the message. And
Call
I'll
the
sing
thing later.
Something like Blobber, and we'll all feel good.
Yes, that's what I want. I want to feel good without
Does
medication.
the message thing still exist?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know the number, so I hope you have it. You can hear the busy signal. All right. Yeah, sorry,
if
man.
Not, I'll leave it somewhere.
Look, dude, you're doing great. You're doing great. Just give us a call in 4 hours.
All right, I'll keep working.
All right, man.
We believe in you.
Later. Sorry, dude.
There was
Bev. Well, Bev hit the busy
up
all thing, and you can, I guess, bleed. There was a little bleed through or something like that. It's not her fault. It's fine. Okay, so Twitter games. So I had the human cloning. That's a good one. Make everything legal that Tasty makes. That's pretty good as well. I liked the side boob access law, even though the second part of that law was a little.
We'll just pass the first.
Yeah, let's get rid of some pork there. Mandatory spell check. And then the cats in the outlawing IPAs or whatever.
How about making murder legal so Jessica can kill everybody up?
You want to do that one too?
Well, I thought that was
I call it the bus one? All right. Okay. Well, what do you think? Human cloning. Who wants to vote for the human cloning one?
Yes.
Nobody does. Anything Tasty makes. No, okay, that's fine. Side boob access law. I'm gonna vote for that shit. That's
that?
3.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that sounds like, but nothing can be bad about it, right?
That's 4.
I love side boob.
Yeah.
You gotta love this. So even with Bev's 2 votes, it's the side boob action that wins.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
So alternately called the sleeveless top law.
Phil Howard.
Phil Howard.
At Seabad Phil.
Good job, Seabad Phil. Speaking of Seabad Phil, Marshall, you were talking a little bit earlier about how you use Beersmith.
I love Beersmith.
We love Beersmith, too. And if you guys haven't tried Beersmith, you can go to beersmith.com, and there's a 21-day free trial. Costs you nothing just to play around and brew. Look, you're going to play around and brew anyway, so you might as well just fucking do it with Beersmith. Okay? Just do it, Beersmith. Trust me. Uncle JP knows best. Okay? Now I'm going to take you to school. All right, Warren, are you ready to get us out of here? You're going to be me today.
I'll try.
All right, I'll give you the cue. Do you know when to come in? You hit the post. You going to hit the post, Warren?
Yeah, when the music comes up?
No.
Not exactly.
Oh.
Not exactly. Right when the singing starts. I'll point at you.
You're used to it.
I'll do this.
When the singing starts.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Are you ready for this? All right, Marshall, thanks, man. I appreciate you coming in and doing your whole thing in here and bringing all the beers and making me totally doubt myself.
It was a lot of fun.
I loved it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Of course,
it was a lot of fun.
It was great.
We got to have you back. Shoe Light.
Yeah.
Thanks for broing it up, dude.
Whatever, dude.
Brah.
All right.
Brah.
All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.
Thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer by going to morebeer.com. Marshall from Brülosophy came up to talk about experiments and triangle test trickery. Go check out all of his cool science and the significance of his pee at brülosophy.com. Merge your love of Disneyland with your lack of engaging podcasts and go to earsuppodcast.com with a Z. As JP, Terrence, Bevo, and Terrence talk about all things Disney. Go check out Moscow's Hop Cartoons over at hoplifestore.com. Get on Twitter for some good beer insight and homebrew info. Follow Nathan Smith at Nathan Homebrew and Tasty McDole at Tasty McD. Warren is joining the 21st Century over at Another Beardy. Speaking of Warren, he was a bit of a dick today. In unrelated news, he was also sitting in JP's chair. The production director on the session has been Pusha Jack. Today's show was sort of produced by JP. Bevo was still trying to beat Warren at a game of Trivia Crack. And your host was JP.
A little late, Warren, but you did great, buddy. Thanks, man. All right, cheers.
Be sure to follow the Brewing Network at Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.